Hello and welcome to the United Stand. This is our Manchester United versus West Bromwich Albion live stream watch along. If you're here watching it after the game, click the link in the video description or the eye in the top right hand corner to go to our instant match reaction stream. But if you're here live, you're very welcome. Manchester United team news will be coming in very soon. Matty07 says, I want to see 5-0 today. I don't see any reason why not, Matteo, to be honest. I don't see any reason why not. We are at home against the side that is definitely going down, bottom of the Premier League. We should, and I expect us to win this game, to be honest. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't do. And I would expect to see a good performance, regardless of how... I mean, I suppose you could say, is this the sort of team that we learn anything from? Because even if this was smack between the two Sevilla games, when we played very conservative football, I still think this is the sort of game that surely Jose has a go at. So, you know, that's what I'm expecting from today. And we need to see progression. We need to see progression at Manchester United, and I think that we will do. I was confident that Anthony Martial was going to start, but actually, from what I heard from Jose in the press conference the other day, I'm not actually that convinced that he will do. Reminds me at some point that I've got to announce the winner for our bet ball competition, which was last night. But team news is about to come in. Who else have we got? Like quite a few people watching. If you are new, subscribe to the channel. We're going for 214,000 subscribers tonight. Well, it will be this tonight by the end of it. We're on 213, 19, 22. So having a bit of chocolate left from Easter. Rashid, we're not going to park the bus. We're not going to park the bus. Don't worry about that. Never going to happen. My prediction's 4-0, and I think 4-0's about right. If you agree, I think 4-0's about right. I think United should be looking at winning that one 4-0. We'll see. Lukaku to score at any time. I totally agree with that. Martial to put in a worldie today, says the Darkness. Maybe he'll do it from the bench. I don't think he's going to start. Team news is about to come in any second now. Just waiting for it to come in for you. My prediction is that we'll see pretty much the same as what we saw. Come on, give us a team news. Here we go. Yeah, Lingard's on the bench with Martial and Rashford. God, my God. Lingard, Martial and Rashford all on the bench. My God, that's quite a shock, really. The future's bright. Well, De Gea in goal, Valencia captain, Lindelof and Smalling, Bailly rested, Ashley Young, Matic, Herrera, Pogba, which is good. I'm glad that it's Ashley. I'm glad to see you, Matic, Herrera, and Pogba. Mata, Lukaku, Alexis Sanchez. No Eric Bailly at all. Joel Pereira on the bench with Phil Jones, Marcus Rojo, Scott McTominay, Lingard, Martial, and Rashford. Very happy with that midfield three, and I think it can work at home. And I'm glad to see that that is being developed more and more by Mourinho. I'm also glad to see no Fellaini there. No Luke Shaw there, obviously. I don't know what the situation with Eric Bailly is, but that is, it's a strong team, says Ankit. And Mata deserves to play. I don't think there's a problem with Mata playing. I'm just slightly disappointed that we haven't seen Rashford or Martial start, but maybe we will see them towards the end of the game. I say Jose out. He's playing his own Champions League marker. And if United can beat City 3-2 from a 2-0 comeback, we should thrash West Brom, says Fading Book. And park the bus, United, says Red Devils. We're not going to park the bus. It's a very expansive team, that. It's a very experienced team. Why skits? I agree. And as George Kyle says, the team's fine. We'll still win. And I do agree with that. I think there's nothing wrong with the team at all. We will. I think we're comfortably going to win. I would like to. Actually, would have. If Rashford and Martial weren't starting, I would have liked to have seen Jesse Lingard playing. But Alexis Sanchez needs games, doesn't he? Because Jose needs to justify bringing him into the club and wrecking a load of other people's careers. So he's got to play him every week. And same with Lukaku. He will never drop Lukaku. And I don't even think it's about dropping Lukaku. I just would like to see Rashford start a game up front. I mean, it's West Brom, for God's sake. We've got 3 games in a week. Why not just give Rashford a game up front and give Lukaku a rest? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Callum Roberts says Martial needs to come on at the 60th minute. He hasn't had any minutes for ages, has he? Right, I'm going to get the team news up for you. This is not the team news, so don't... we've had a contribution already from Justice O. Jose's clearly just doing this because of his ego, trying to show he's in charge at the detriment to the development of our young players. I'm Jose in, but his ego will ruin our club. Well, I don't think we can argue too much about the team, if I'm totally honest. It's you know, it's justifiable, and Jose will know that. But I think also there was an opportunity there to give some other people a game. I mean, again, Ashley Young, why is he playing? Why can't we play Blind at left back? And I know he's not going to play Shaw, and I don't expect him to play Shaw, but why can't we do that? But realistically, this is going to be all about the attackers. And when you've got Herrera, Pogba, Sanchez, Mata, I don't see us having any problems in this game. And, you know, Jose's picking the team that he wants to get the headlines so he can say, I know what I'm doing. But I pretty much guarantee you that people like Lingard and Martial and McTominay would thrive in an opportunity like this, which is probably why he's not giving them an opportunity in a game like this, because he doesn't want them to thrive, because he wants to suppress and keep the team that he wants to play. Nightmare TV, team's fine, just worried if Martial doesn't come off the bench. Well, you know, you can only make 3 substitutions, and I think that's the problem that Martial faces really at the moment, is he just can't even get on the in the team from the bench. No Martial or Rashford, says Firefly999. I'm not totally surprised, if I'm honest. Maybe he's planning on starting Martial and Rashford against Bournemouth on Wednesday. Yeah, I would hope so. I hope so, but I also think that this, as I said in the preview, this was the game to play Shaw and Martial and Rashford, because it's the easier game. West Brom are rooted to the bottom of the table, and it's at Old Trafford. Bournemouth are, you know, maybe they're a bit on the beach, but they are, they're away, aren't they? You know, we're away in that one. I don't know. I'm eating some chocolate. I'm in a good mood, though. I'm in a good mood. I want to see some goals today, and I think that team's got goals in it. The development of Herrera is really important, obviously. Looking forward to seeing him play in the midfield 3. And Alexis Sanchez. I mean, I watched Spurs last night. I'm sure a lot of you watched Spurs as well. I wasn't that impressed. So, Brody Hanley says maybe he's testing this formation for the FA Cup next week. Yeah, you know what? I agree with you, Brody. The positive for me is that we've stuck with a 4-3-3. If Mourinho had took Herrera out and played a number 10 like Lingard today, I couldn't have argued with that because we're at home. But it would have concerned me a little bit, because I would have thought, you know, that Herrera-Matic-Pogba dynamic is the one we all wanted in the summer, and it's taken till April to do it. I'm glad it's not disappeared. I think it can work at home. I said that on Monday, didn't I, after the Man City game. I think Herrera, Pogba and Matic can work really well if Matic sits and Herrera and Pogba are allowed to go forward. I think it can cause teams real problems. Then you've got Mata, and Mata and Herrera do really well. You've got Pogba, Sanchez, they need to develop, and obviously Lukaku up front. So that's the positive for me, the midfield 3 playing again, because I think that Brody is right. That midfield 3 will surely be the way that we go in the semi-final next week, because Spurs have a tendency to get hold of the midfield. Arsenal are losing 2-1 to Newcastle with 10 minutes to go. But you know what? If Arsenal fans have a meltdown about that, they're idiots, because let's be honest, Manchester United were in the same boat last year, and when you're playing Europa League Thursday and then you've got to play Sunday lunchtime, it's almost mission impossible. It's very, very difficult, so I don't see there being a problem with that. Red Devils thinks we're going to park the bus. I think he's being sarcastic. Do I think Martial's leaving, says Louis? I think it's up in the air. I'm not going to make statements like that. I mean, West Brom are going to come and have a fight today, so the midfield battle is very important. Martial's on the bench. You know, Luke Shaw's the one that everyone thinks is going, and he might not go, but he's not even making the bench. So he's, Martial is on the bench, so I don't think that's necessarily curtains for him. But we'll see what happens. Newcastle are my second team, says Manchester United list. Ahmed says, I just hope we don't park the bus. The subs will come from the front three in the second half, I feel. I hope so anyway. To see Lingard, Rashi and Tony on would be nice, says Mini Diver. Maybe Mourinho's scared of putting Martial on, because if Martial goes and does what many people feel he can do, then he knows he's going to get that negative press, and he doesn't want that in a big week. Mark, do you think Martial deserves to be given a chance over Mata this game, says Defron KG? Look, I'm a big fan of Martial, so when I say I want Martial to play, people can quite rightly say, oh, you just Martial FC and all that. But as I've been saying over the last couple of weeks, he's done more tackles than Marcus Rashford has this season, and he's played 4 games less. He's scored more goals than Lingard and Martial, and he's played about 4 games less. He creates more chance than anybody in the United shirt this season, and his goals to game ratio is better than Lukaku's and anybody else this season. So I'm not big on stats, because stats can be deceptive, but Martial's played about 26 games and he's winning on them key stats. So he's clearly a very important player who should be playing a hell of a lot more. Mata's stats aren't very good. I like Mata. Mata's brilliant. I'm happy Mata's playing. But Mata's stats this season aren't that good. Goals, assists, not that good. So Mourinho's obviously favouring the work ethic over the actual results ethic of what they actually achieve on the pitch, which I think is a bit unfair. But Martial, I think it's such a weird situation with Martial, because I don't actually understand what more he can do. People say, oh, he's got to prove himself. He's already proved himself. So it's a very difficult situation. I think all we've got to do is watch and hope and wait and see what happens with him, because I don't know the answer. I think he does more than enough in a United shirt, but for Mourinho, it's not enough. And will it ever be enough? I don't know. We'll have to see in the next few weeks. Not a big fan of Martial, says John Sherrill, so no problem. His place is on the bench for the time being. Hell of a potential though. See, different people, different views. Let's hope Pogba and Sanchez hook up and see each other and not get in each other's space, says Warren Storr. That was something I was going to mention, Warren. Very, very, very relevant point. I said against Man City, that second half was immense from Pogba and Sanchez. But I still don't believe that the problem is solved. And I think if you're into your tactics, keep an eye today on where Pogba's playing and where Sanchez is playing, because they still have that major issue of operating in the same space, and we need to be a little bit more careful about that. I've got Andy joining us, which is nice. Hi Andy, all right?
Yeah, Mark, you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I'm just going to read a super chat here that I thought I saw. Where is it? There it is. Okay. William NG, you think Pogba, Matic, Herrera, EPL, United Champions League winning midfield? I think it's I mean, what's your thoughts on the team, Andy? But that's the positive for me, that midfield three playing together. And I think some people are thinking it's a bit defensive, but I said last week, yeah, it can be defensive, and I think it works well against the bigger teams, but I think it can also be really attacking as well. I expect to see Herrera and Pogba getting forward a lot today, especially Pogba, because he's got that comfort blanket of knowing that Herrera will track back and cover Matic.
Exactly, he said it himself, didn't he, Pogba, after the City game to Thierry Henry in the analysis afterwards, that he prefers playing in a midfield three because, like you said, he knows that Matic will sit, and when Pogba goes forward, he knows that Herrera will also cover for him as well, so he's got that extra protection as well. I'm really glad that we're playing a midfield three. I think Mourinho, he's not going to play the 3-5-2 anymore. He does it very, very selective in the away games. So I think the 4-3-3 is the best formation, personally, along with the 3-5-2. I'm really, really happy with that midfield three. And he could have easily picked McTominay as well for this game instead of Herrera, but he hasn't. He's picked Herrera, and I think that's brilliant. I'm really, really happy with that midfield three. But I am concerned a little bit with the whole Martial situation. I'm hoping that, because if he is going to play Martial against Spurs, then you need to either give him some minutes today or some minutes against Bournemouth, because he needs some match sharpness back as well, some fitness back in his legs, because he hasn't played for the last 3 or 4 games. So, and that's on Mourinho's watch.
Yeah. It's a lot of people not happy about it, but a lot of people haven't been happy about this all week. And I think you make make your decision, you take your choice, don't you? And I think that some people will think he's going, some people will think he's not. I would agree with the statement that if he's not going to give him, surely today was the perfect opportunity to give him some game time. I think if he doesn't get any game start against Bournemouth, then it's starting to look really worrying. I don't think he's playing against Spurs. I think we can pretty much predict that now. That he's not part of that Spurs game at all. I mean, he's not started the last 3 games for United now. That pretty much means he's not in the starting plans for Mourinho at the moment.
Yeah, exactly, and it's really disappointing. And it's typical of the press, isn't it? We were on such a high after the win against City. And what do they bring out on, was it Monday or Tuesday morning? Martial and Rashford going. It's the typical agenda press. I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it. If Man City had won that game, of course, obviously, all the newspapers would be saying like they won the title, but there wouldn't be any negative stories coming out there. Of course, there wouldn't.
For ladies' third leg, it's kick-off in 45 minutes. In relation to this game, West Brom clearly are going to go down. I can honestly say I haven't watched a lot of West Brom this season, but it must be pretty bad because they are quite an experienced team and they're not a team I would expect to be down there, so they're obviously having a very bad season. There's a slim chance they can stay up if they get a result today, but are you expecting that, or you think, this is an opportunity for United to really, impress on what Mourinho says he's trying to do, which is play quick football and attractive football? It's surely another opportunity to take a step forward and keep convincing those fans that he will change.
Exactly. I haven't been confident with United results in the past few weeks. Been quite conservative, but today I'm going 3-0 as my score prediction. Which is, it'd be absolutely unforgivable if we were to lose anyway. But obviously, I think everyone knows that if we were to lose, City would be confirmed as champions. So there's that, and also we just have to win to consolidate second place because we've got Liverpool behind us only by a point now, but we've got today's game and another game in hand. So just consolidating that second place. And I saw today that we've already beat our points tally this season from last season. I think it was 69 points last season, and we've now got 71, and we've still got 5 or 6 games left. So there's progression there, but I agree with some fans that, to be honest, I think this season has been a failure because simply just by getting knocked out in the Champions League by Sevilla in the quarter-final stage.
Round before, it wasn't even the quarter-final.
Oh, sorry, yeah, round of 16. Sorry, yeah, not the quarterfinals. And that was our aim, getting to the quarterfinals. It wasn't like it was Barcelona or Real Madrid that knocked us out. It was really, really disappointing.
Well, I said this the other day, actually. I mean, you're right, and we did finish 6th last year, so you'd expect us to get many more points. And we are, and Jose's right, we do deserve to finish 2nd, but I think every press conference he talks about 2nd, and some people enjoy that, and some people don't, and I don't. I just always feel that it's in my head anyway, but I can just imagine Sir Alex Ferguson saying 2nd is no good, it's still the first loser. So, but we seem obsessed with 2nd, and yeah, we should want to finish 2nd, but I don't think we need to publicise it at every bloody press conference. Oh yeah, it's about points for 2nd. It's still many points behind Man City, and it's still embarrassing. But I agree. I think there is progression there. I think we've got to win the FA Cup to make it a progressive season. But I think even if we did finish 2nd and win the FA Cup, if Man City win the title, which they're going to, and Liverpool win the Champions League, then it doesn't matter who you are. If you're the manager of Manchester United when City win the league and Liverpool win the Champions League, that's happened on your watch. That is a disastrous season. So I hope it doesn't happen. I'm really hoping Liverpool don't win the Champions League. But it'd be interesting how Mourinho can put a positive spin on 2nd place and an FA Cup if Man City win the league and Liverpool win the Champions League. They were both tournaments that we entered this year, and that for me would be a disaster season. So I think it's almost out of his hands how this season goes.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, Liverpool got the draw that they always wanted against Roma. I'm seriously concerned. I don't think Liverpool... The thing is, Liverpool's squad on paper, apart from the front three, is average, innit? But they've got this... They love working for Klopp. Klopp's installed this sort of team ethic. They all love him. They all want to work for him. He's passionate. So, I'm really worried that they will win it. As for City, I think Ross has come on and said it a few times. I completely agree with him. A lot of the league is just laid down for Man City this season. I mean, look, I watched the Spurs game last night. Spurs were god-awful. They really were. I've never seen Spurs get done by so many over the top balls. It was ridiculous. But you know, I think Man City season has been a failure as well, as silly as that sounds. Because
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
To get to the quarterfinals of the Champions League when Guardiola has been brought in to win them but the press won't focus on that. But I don't want to talk about Man City because it's a Man United fan channel. I can't stand Man City.
Justice O says, so funny how we've just concluded that Martial shouldn't play in the big games. We forget he's won as many. Jose has made us forget. And Hader Hammond says, a guy in the comments of official Manchester United Facebook post of lineup full wrote a post about a game. As I'm reading it, just said that on live, then he quoted you. Alright, okay. So what? A guy in the comments of the official Manchester United Facebook page of the lineup wrote a post about a game, and as I'm reading it, I'm like, man, Mark Goldbridge just said that on the live. Then he quoted you. Alright. Cheers for the comment, Hader. I'm not going to have time to go and read that. If people want to, they can. Yeah, I think in relation to Martial, he needs to come on today, and he needs to come on for at least 20 minutes. And if he doesn't, I would start to concern. But even then, there's still like, is he refusing to sign a contract? And that's why Mourinho won't pick him. There's many different aspects to it, and I think we just need to have a little bit of patience with that. But the reality is, we won't know about this season until the end of it. But I'm not concerned about Spurs. I think we can beat Spurs. I think we've got a bit of momentum, and the next two games are a good opportunity to keep that momentum. And I think we've got to. I don't know what everyone else feels at home and what you feel about it, Andy. But I think, you know, we talk about if we win the FA Cup. I think we have to win the FA Cup. It's Spurs and potentially Chelsea. And as Manchester United, with the players that we've got, it should be we need to win the FA Cup, not if. And I understand the if because we've made mistakes, but you know, we've got to win that FA Cup, and today is just an opportunity to keep enhancing that reputation that we have changed and we are trying to play different football.
Exactly. Like I said, Mourinho, he did it in the second half against Man City. And to be fair, like I'm not Jose's biggest fan by all means, but he does deserve a massive amount of credit for the second half, because from what I've been hearing, it's just been all Ashley Young and players like that motivating players in the dressing room. So Mourinho had nothing to say then, did he? Of course he did. But I saw an absolutely brilliant comment in the comments. I think it was in the after show, saying that we should start games like that. We shouldn't need, you know, a kick up the arse from the players or the manager. I completely agree. We should be starting games like that. We showed far too much respect to Man City. We were sloppy in possession, giving the ball away far too many times. I know that City would have been up for it. Of course they were. It was, like Company said, it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for them. But yeah, this is the ideal game, and I'm just really happy that he's playing the 4-3-3, and I hope that he takes that into the Bournemouth game as well.
Biosphere says, makes me sad, but Salah deserves the Ballon d'Or. No, he doesn't. And Ronaldo's way ahead. Look, the reality is, while Messi and Ronaldo have got a pulse, then everyone else can forget about it. You're just giving it out. You're giving the Ballon d'Or out to somebody out of sympathy, really, because Messi and Ronaldo are just on a different level, and Salah is just nowhere near. I think that's the same idiots who are putting it in the press who said that this is the best Man City team ever. They're just not, but people get lost in the moment. He's got to do it next season anyway. Hader Hammond, Martial is the EPL's hidden gem. Time will show. And can't even beat Newcastle, and they think they can beat Atletico Madrid. Look, I wouldn't pay any attention to that Arsenal result. In fact, if you're thinking of doing Arsenal fan TV and chill later, go and watch Songs of Praise. That is just an Arsenal second team focusing on the Europa League. It's not, you know, we did it last year, so I wouldn't read any. I don't think there's any issue with Arsenal losing that. What might be of interest is, just put a tweet out actually, saying, thoughts on Martial not starting today? Surely the perfect opportunity to give him some game time. Just going to read some of the selected replies. Why not talk about McTominay, Rashford and Jones, Rojo, Lingard, etc. not starting, says Kai. And the manager doesn't like him, end of. he is done in a United shirt. Please stop it already. I think Martial's just a funny thing amongst the Manchester United fan community, actually, because you raise a point about Martial, you get some people who are really passionate about it, and then you get some people who just won't accept it. They're like, oh, why haven't you spoken about Rojo not starting, or Phil Jones not starting, or stop it already, stop being so negative. It's like, one, it's not negative, it's actually raising a point that's very pertinent to the week we've just had, and you know, it's all about opinion. Everyone's got a right to an opinion. We are about 25 minutes away from, not 25, 35 minutes away from kick-off, and City have won the league and the League Cup. Pellegrini did that too. Pepper's done nothing special, says Aidan Garner. What's your score prediction for today, Andy?
I'm going 3-0. I really am confident. I've been quite conservative over the past few weeks, but we just simply have to win, and win convincingly today. 3-0 I'm going.
Brendan Tombow says Martial's come out and said he isn't going anywhere. I've not seen anything quoted about that, so I will just have a double check. But be careful about that, Brandon, putting stuff out like that. People really are quite passionate about this, and if you haven't got a direct quote, then you know, you've got to be very careful about that. The only thing I've read about Anthony Martial in the last 24 hours is that he's open to a move to Arsenal, which I think is total nonsense. But yeah, you've got to be a little bit careful with that. Oh, it's getting right on my nerves. My Chrome keeps shutting down, which is a pain. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyone else had any problems with Chrome today? Irritating, that is. Really irritating. But Lindelof starting's a good one, Andy. I mean, I want to stick with the positives.
Yeah.
I like Lindelof. I think he's done very well for us this season, and I'm glad to see him starting.
Exactly. Big fan of Lindelof. And it seems as well that, you know, keep referring back to it, the Arsenal and Watford games, he was absolutely brilliant. And then Mourinho, he's put him in the team at times this season, and then he's just taken him out again for no reason. I do, and again, we're being linked with Umtiti again. I can't understand it, to be honest. I would really like to see Bay and Lindelof be given a good solid run in the team, because I think that they're both only 23, aren't they? 23, 24. So they could be our centre half, our first team centre half pairing for years. So I really would like to see them playing alongside each other. But I'm just going to flick over to Sky Sports thing, because I don't think Bay's in the squad at all today, is he?
No, I don't know whether anyone in the live comments can tell us about Eric Bay. Maybe he's just being rested. I mean, you know what? I put a tweet out last night about Phil Jones saying, I mean, we'll have a quick chat about that, because I would like to see what the live comments have got to say. So basically, we put a tweet out last night on the United Stand account saying, you know, you've got a conversation of, if we did get Umtiti, you'd have to move on at least one of Phil Jones and Smalling. And a lot of people would rather Smalling went than Phil Jones. And we basically said, how can any United fan realistically want Jones to stay at the club when another season has passed where he's not been fit for more than 50% of it? I mean, that's the story for the last 5 years. How can you have a centre-back and want them to stay, no matter how good they are, when for the last 5 years they haven't been available for half of every season? I mean, what's your thoughts on... I mean, I think Phil Jones has done quite well under Mourinho when he's played, and I think Mourinho does like him, but his injury record is just, especially for a centre-back, well, for any player, it's just not acceptable. I would be moving him on, to be honest.
I completely agree. I think you've referenced it, the cycle of Jones. I couldn't agree more. He plays sort of... I think he was in nosebleed territory this season. He started about 8 or 9 games in a row, didn't he? It's like Darmian crossing the halfway line, just a rarity. It's really, really disappointing, because it looked like he was in really good form, and then he goes and gets injured again. It's just so frustrating. So for me, 100%. And to be honest, I like Smalling. I do like Smalling. Out of the two, if I had to make a choice, I would definitely be moving Jones on. And I think we could get decent money for him, maybe 15, 20 million, and you can't really sniff at that, because I think we paid about 18 million for him in the first place.
George Kyle says, sell both Dumb and Dumber. Look, you know what? For me, they're backup centre-backs anyway, so I'm not going to lose any sleep about it. And I do like Jones, but I probably would prefer Smalling because he stays fitter longer. But they would be backup centre-backs. But it's all about opinion. If you want Jones to stay, that's fine. But all I can throw back about Phil Jones is it's very factual that for the last 5 seasons, he's missed half of every season. So I don't understand the Jones fans? Are you just doing it because you hope that he's finally going to get fit eventually? I think the older he gets, the less fit he's going to be, I would say, but we'll see. Kane is trying to claim the Ballon d'Or. I'm loving them jokes at the moment. So Smalling is a solid defender. Yeah, so there's a lot of positives from the game today. I mean, West Brom are going to come and have a fight. It's a Manchester United game. It feels like a long time since we've played, and I do think you're right, Andy. You made a very good point about the Man City game. In fact, I just want to say, let's see if we can get 1,000 likes before kick-off, because it's a bit of a superstition that we have. And if you are new to the United Stand, please subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. We're only 58 away off 214,000 subscribers. A nice round number. So click the button in the bottom right-hand corner. Remember, we're live every single night at 8 o'clock with a live show interaction. I've got Sophie and Rodney on with me tonight at 8. We've got fan cams. We've got the match reaction straight after. Loads of content on the United Stand. So get involved. You're very welcome. And the best thing of all is the live comments and the community that we have here. So you're very welcome if you're new. And let us know if you are new in the live comments. I was just talking there about... I've completely forgot what I was going to say. Oh, no, you're on about Manchester City and what a great result it was. And it was brilliant. Yep. I do agree with everybody. A lot of what people have said is that actually, Man City should have been 4 or 5-0 up if Sterling could finish, and that game would have been humiliation and they would have been Premier League titles. But the reality is they didn't take their chances, and that's what football is. We got to half-time, and then the second half performance was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Real positive. And it wasn't like we were hanging on, we played well in the first half. We should be taking that momentum from the second half into the next few games. But in the week that's preceded that half, we've had negativity, whether it's Martial or whatever. So we need... It just shows the sort of... the scales that Mourinho's up against, really, that even a great half against Man City, there's still mistrust amongst some of the fan base in relation to him. So it's imperative that he does something about that. But we also had this week Herrera coming out and saying, the thing I like about Mourinho is, and it's a weird trait, is that he genuinely doesn't really care about what anybody says about him.
Yeah. I listened to your Mourinho press conference reaction as well yesterday. And to be honest, I didn't watch the reaction because I was at work. Sorry, on Friday. I'm losing track of what day we're on. So I was at work, so I missed the Mourinho press conference. But from the gist of what you were saying, he seemed miserable again, downbeat. And, the question on Martial, I can only pick 11 players. Well done, Michael Owen. We know that. Just after some positivity, just come out and say, exactly like you said, Martial's a great player, but at the moment I'm just not able to pick him, or something like that, something along those lines. Just something to, because it really doesn't help the situation, does it? When it's probably nonsense anyway, but you never know, do you? Martial and I don't think Rashford's going to leave anyway, but Martial leaving, and Mourinho has done nothing to quash those rumours there. And the same with Ander Herrera. He's saying that, he loves playing for Man United. But again, he's out of contract. I think it's next season as well, isn't it? So, yeah. But I think it's been a decision made by Man United. They're going to hopefully sort out the contracts at the end of the season. That's what I'm hoping anyway. Just wait until this season's done, and then in the summer before the World Cup. But you're leaving yourself quite a limited sort of time frame, especially if negotiations are quite lengthy as well, especially with De Gea. The three main players for me is De Gea, Martial and Herrera. We need to get them signed up, because unfortunately I think Luke Shaw, I completely disagree with it. He has been treated badly. I'd love him to be our first choice left back, but I think I've come to accept that he's going to be moved on now. But those three definitely, Herrera, Martial, De Gea, we need to sign them up on new contracts.
I'm having a real problem with Google Chrome at the moment, so my live comments seems to have disappeared, and hopefully that doesn't mean that I've lost the stream at all. It's getting on my absolute nerves, to be honest. But Red Jedi made a good point, and he said that for him it was a good 20 minutes against Manchester City. And whether you felt it was a good half or a good 20 minutes against Manchester City, I suppose the bottom line is this, that and that's what makes today even more exciting, is that we have this opportunity that, you shouldn't be expecting a good 20 minutes against West Brom. We should be expecting a good 45 or 60 minutes. And United, I think all season we've had that problem, whether we've even when we've been playing conservative football, we do need the that longevity in a game, that consistency of doing it for longer. So yeah, you could say it was only 20 minutes of good football, or you could say it was 45. Go with whichever way you want to go. But the reality is, I think that's the exciting thing about today. Can Manchester United, and we haven't really done it for a long time, Andy, can we go today against West Brom, who are probably going to sit back, and from minute one push forward and create chances? And I think we will. I know Alexis Sanchez is sort of unfairly blamed. I mean, what's your thoughts on Sanchez? He does get a lot of blame because it's his signing that's lessened Rashford's game time, destroyed Martial's run on the left-hand side. Pogba's suffered from it. Lingard suffered from it a little bit as well. So that's 4 players off the top of my head. But it's not his fault, and it has taken him time to adapt, and he does seem to be adapting now, which is obviously very positive for United.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we've been saying, haven't we, if Sanchez was brought in to replace Martial, what was the point in signing him? But we've signed him now. I think a lot of us would prefer to see Sanchez out on the right, but again, Mourinho's made that decision. He's got to live by that now. But yeah, Sanchez, watching him over the past few games, I thought he played well against Man City in the second half. And you're always going to get 100% from Sanchez. He's your typical Chilean, isn't he? There's a lot of Chilean players like that. Gary Medel, Arturo Vidal. They'll run themselves into the ground. They work really, really hard. And I think as well, I think this nonsense that he's on 500 grand a week, it's ridiculous. He's not on 500 grand a week. I think he's on about 350 a week, and that was on BBC Sport. It wasn't in Manchester Evening News or anything like that. BBC Sport, quite reliable.
He's still the best played player in the Premier League, though, because he's admitted that, hasn't he?
Yeah, I completely understand that. He is the best paid player in the Premier League, but he's not on 500 grand a week. That's ridiculous. So I don't think that's helped either. The press are going to jump all over that, especially when he has a few bad games. But yeah, I really want to see. To be honest, I do want to see Sanchez in the team consistently, unless of course he does hit a bad run of form. But I am glad that we're starting him every game because he still needs to get integrated with the team. So yeah, I'm really happy that Sanchez is playing again, and I really hope he hits a run of form from now until the end of the season, because he's not going to the World Cup either, is he? So there could be no excuses. If he doesn't hit the ground running next season, there could be no excuses, really.
One quick question before you go, Andy, and I want people at home to answer this as well, because it's a good one. Men United says, who does Martial and Rashford start ahead of in today's team? Because, yeah, people can want Martial and Rashford to start, but actually have they thought through in that lineup, which everybody's pretty happy with? I haven't seen anyone saying they're not happy with the formation. Where would you have started either of those? And if you did, where would you have played them?
I would have started Martial over Mata, but I would have switched Sanchez out to the right and put Martial on the left. I love Juan Mata. He's missed consistent for Man United. He's brilliant. He's got such a humble personality. He's a brilliant human being and a very, very intelligent player off the pitch as well as on the pitch. But for me, I would start. And to be honest, I would have put. To be honest, I don't know. I think I would have started Rashford over Lukaku, just to, like you say, give Lukaku a rest, because Lukaku, he's been very, very maybe lucky with injuries this season. He hasn't had. I don't think he's had an injury at all, has he? It only takes an injury to Lukaku, and then he's got to play Rashford up front, and he's got a problem, because if Rashford suddenly plays up front and he's out of form, what does he do then? Do you stick Martial up front and Rashford on the left? You don't know, do you?
No.
So to be honest, I would like to see Rashford up front more, so he gets used to that position again, because as we know under Van Gaal, he brought him through and he played him up front. So I would probably start Rashford. I know Lukaku's in good form as well, but I would start Rashford just for today's game up front. Martial on the left, Sanchez on the right.
Can't argue with that. Thanks for calling in, Andy, again, and really enjoyed the chat, and I'll speak to you again soon. Yeah,
cheers for having me on, Mark. All the best.
Cheers, pal. Thanks to Andy. I'd say follow him on Twitter, but I don't think he's on it. Mata every time, says George Kyle, for Martial, and Shaka Phillips has got it right. He says Mata and Lukaku, rest Lukaku. I think that is a very good question from Man United. Kieran Byrne and a few people said what a great question, and a lot of people are replying and giving their opinions to it. But yeah, for me, you can't really argue with the starting lineup because Mata and Sanchez are fantastic. But I think it was more today about potentially, it's up to Jose and he's made his choice. I just feel that we've got West Brom, Bournemouth on Wednesday and Spurs. It was an opportunity to use some of those players who haven't had many minutes. I mean, whether Rashford's unhappy or whether Martial's unhappy is by the by, really. I'm sure they want to play for Manchester United and get some minutes under their belt. They're not getting enough minutes at the moment, and that's a fact. And I think the West Brom game, a week before the Spurs game, when we've got another game midweek, was the perfect game to give them a bit of game time at home. And, you know, it wouldn't be dropping Lukaku to play Rashford up front. That's what I would have done. I think, you know, if Lukaku does get a bad injury, then we're going to play Rashford up front. And he never does it. He never gives Rashford any game time up front. And we've seen that last season with Zlatan. He just played him every single week. And maybe it's a trait of Mourinho. I'd have to look through his past and see if he always does that with his number 9. Because he just seems to play them and play them and play them and play them. So I would have played Rashford today. Maybe he will do it on Wednesday. You know, maybe he will do it on Wednesday. But I think every team, doesn't matter who you are, Pep's done it a lot with Jesus and Aguero. I just think it can become a bit stagnant and a bit almost boring that we always know he's picking Lukaku every game. And I like Lukaku, but we've got 22 players. He brought that up himself on Friday in the press conference. He's got 22 players and he needs 22 players. But give us a bit of excitement. Give Lukaku a bit of a, not a kick up the backside, but a little bit of a nudge that you're not playing every... Because if you're Lukaku, I mean, Mourinho even said it in October, I'm playing him every week, he's my most important player, la la la. He never shuts up about Lukaku and Matic. Well, how's about, no, you're on the bench. You might just plant a seed in Lukaku's head of, oh, maybe I'm not always going to play. And I think that's... that would be what I would have done today. I actually quite fancied seeing Marcus Rashford playing up front. As for Martial, I probably would have played him on the left hand side, and again, just giving Sanchez a bit of a rest. Mourinho's just been spoken to at the moment. Let me just see if I can pick up anything for you. Yeah, he's talking about last week and saying they've been fighting against that performance last week and what they do. And they've got a few matches to play in the Premier League. This one is the first of them, and we need points. We still need... He's still on about second place. He's obsessed with it. We still need a few more points to finish in the top 4. But we want to try and finish second, which is a position we are very stable for many months. For that, we need points. And we need to win this match. To win against City and lose his points today makes no sense. There we go. Well, yeah, it's very good on that. You've got your own goals, of course. But yeah, I mean, he loves that second place. He never shuts up about it. Lynn Hall says that today's probably Martial's best chance of a start, so losing hope. Not as worried about Rashford, he's younger and we won't sell him, but big danger we'll lose Martial in the summer if we don't give him games now. Interesting spin on it. Of course, if we lose today, Manchester City are champions. Pep's out on the golf course. And I think if we draw today, they've not won it yet. He's been asked about the changes that he's made, so let's see that. Martial Shaw, are they done? So Sebastian United. He's just talking about Lindelof at the moment, saying that Lindelof went to Swansea and played very well, so he comes in. So he has made some changes. Lindelof coming in. Normally we're going to have more of the ball, and we need somebody from the back who's good on the ball, so that makes sense. I was hoping you might say Eric Bay, but yeah, bringing Lindelof in is a good point today because we have 3 matches in a week and we play Bournemouth again and then Spurs after another 2 days. So hopefully that means against Bournemouth we will see a bit of use of the squad. Maybe we'll see Martial or Rashford there. Mata's come in as well. Obviously come in because Mata's very important in a game like this because they are going to play very deep and Mata's an intricate player, so that makes sense. No opportunity for Martial and Rashford, but the game's probably, you know what, in some sense actually Martial and Rashford maybe not suitable for the starting in this game anyway. Maybe they'd be more suited for an away game where a team's not going to sit back against you. But I wouldn't make your mind up about Martial and Rashford until the Bournemouth game because maybe they'll suit those better. Although Stepney says Martial and Shaw are done. Is Bailey injured? He's not mentioned it. Maybe just resting him. You can't get everybody on the bench, remember. And Red Jardo, I said, is anyone else sick and tired of talking about Jose? He's always the basis of the problem. Well, let's have a little bit of positivity, because I think we're going to win today. And I think that, you know, it's Manchester United playing at the end of the day, and we want to win this game, don't we? So some positivity is a good thing. We just looking at some of the United players out training. I think it's actually just the first team running around at the moment, not the subs. I wondered if the subs were out there. It's just the first team running up and down. But subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner. I need to announce our winner of the Bet Bull competition. They're going to win 250 quid. So be nice for them. But while I'm doing that, let me just say that let us know where you're watching from. I always enjoy that. I can tell you we have a winner, and it's Clive Kennedy. Well done, Clive Kennedy. You've won 250 quid through BetBull. His bet that he's got today was £5 on Manchester United correct score 3-0. So you've won 250 quid through BetBull anyway. But well done on that. I can tell you we've got another 250 quid to give away with BetBull. We'll be doing that tonight on the 8 o'clock show. But well done to Clive. Let us know where you're watching from then. This is one of my favourite bits of the week, this is, because I get so nosy about where everyone's watching from. So we've got Kato Ellis in Indonesia. We've got Nut in Norway. We've got O Wilfredito in New York. I Am Mixie in Bermuda. Multi McKirk in Portsmouth. And we've got Wet and Damp Colchester. Yeah, it's raining in the Midlands at the moment. How to draw famous people. Watching from South Africa, says Lamise. And what if we lose today, Mark, says Vignesh. And Vancouver is David. Denmark for Nicholas. Myanmar, says Nelson. London, Tommy King. Toronto, and it's 10:45 AM for Mark Kilniak. Bermuda again, I've read the same person. Staffordshire. China for Morris. India, Wales, Sweden. Ireland, Germany for Oscar Weber, East London, Bangladesh, Wigan, Ireland again, Hamburg, which is in Germany, Zurich, Darlaston, India, Australia, Greater Manchester, China, Italy, Nepal, West London, Australia, Devon, Sweden, Bangladesh, Norfolk, Melbourne, Australia, South London, Cardiff, Nepal, Seattle, Connecticut, Collyhurst, Perth, Australia, Antarctica, Sydney, Edinburgh, Cape Town, Denmark, Toronto, same person, Zimbabwe, New York. I mean, there's a positive there. No Fellaini as well. Thanks everyone for letting us know where you're watching from. It's always very interesting to see. Manchester United is a global club, and so is the United Stand, and we've always been about that. Grantham, says Kobe. I know Grantham very well. And so, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We're 36 away from 214,000 subscribers. So, subscribe if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner. Very welcome to the community. Lots going on the United Stand, especially these next few weeks and over the summer. Absolutely huge. Rumours that the US Tour game will be playing Liverpool on the 28th in Michigan. United Stand looking to be over in America as well. So if you're going to be out there for those games, come and say hello to us. We're going to be doing fan cams and everything. We're trying to get globally around some places over the next 18 months, so that would be great. But subscribe to the channel, bottom right hand corner, get involved with the community. We've got a fantastic community, you're all very welcome. Live every single night at 8 o'clock. We've got Sophie and Flex on tonight at 8. Interested to see what they've got to say. Fan cams after the game with Flex, so loads going on. Get involved. Aman Moore, I think Martial is going to stay, as United won't sell him until we get the right price, and at the moment no one's going to pay 80 to 100 million pounds to get him when he's having low game time. I think that's a very good point. I think from a business point of view, it doesn't make sense to sell him. Andrew Ellis says that the United tour is a waste of time. Andrew's very anti-Mourinho, and I detect he's probably in a bad mood. I actually really do enjoy the tour, because you haven't had any football for a while, and it sort of gets you back going, doesn't it? Especially if we made some signings. 4 p.m. kickoff. It's getting closer. We are 13 minutes away. 13 minutes away from kickoff. I'm like you, Ven Rice Dillon. He's feeling good. I'm feeling very good as well. I think we're going to win this. We've not quite hit 1,000 likes yet, so if you haven't liked it, please do drop a like on video. My score prediction, I'm going to go with a... I'm going to go with, as my score prediction today, I'm going to go with 4-0. I think we've got to get at least 3. If I'm totally honest with you, we've got to get at least 3 goals today. West Brom are a poor side, and we need to get at least 3 goals today. So I'm going to go 4-0 to Manchester United. I certainly don't think we should be conceding. Famous last words, but I don't. So yeah, I'm going to go 4-0 Manchester United. Have some of that. Have some of that. 4-0 FC back, says Josh James. Mini Divers going 4-0. I want to have a look at some of the score predictions. I've seen a 5-0 there. 3-0 is quite a popular one. I've had Omar and Sapna there, 3-0. Kid Cars Vid says 5-0. Adawo Phillips says 5-0. Kieran Burns going with me, 4-0. 6 says Ryan Lyons. Imagine, I mean, that. You know what? I think we do need to think big. Why can't... I can imagine a Man City or a Liverpool putting 4 or 5 past this West Brom side, and we would be overjoyed if we did that today, Manchester United. And I think maybe if we can do that, what we need to do, I said this on the international break, what United need to do between now and the end of the season is very, very simple. Build momentum for next season so there's something to go on. Now, we know the football was crap against Sevilla, and there has been an intention to change that slow, conservative approach. We've seen that. We need to see that today. We went to City and we won. That shows that we can beat Manchester City in their own ground. That's momentum. What we now need to see is win the FA Cup, but in the league games, win and win well and show some belief and passion so that when we're adding players in the summer, they're coming into a squad that's feeling confident, not a squad that is desperate for them to come in and make us better. Dean says maybe he's drunk, but you can see 6. Chris Taylor wants 6. Charles B's made a contribution, thank you. He says 5-0 to United. Remember, if you want to make a contribution, it's the $ on the bottom of the live comments, but please do leave us a comment because we want to read them out, so thanks for that. Man United Liz says everyone liked the video, and we're nearly at 1,000 likes before kickoff, which is what we want to do. We've got 10 minutes to do it. Matt of Darlow says 9-2. I'd have some of that. Martial off the bench with 5. I agree with Shaka. He says Sanchez and Lukaku need competition for their places. I like them both, but Mourinho needs to rotate those positions. And Tiguan Heat makes a good point as well. Sevilla was a blessing in disguise. It made Jose realise he must change. I don't think he would have changed. I don't think Mourinho would have changed if we got through to the quarterfinals and then lost. I think it was because it was Sevilla, because it was the last 16, and because it was so embarrassing, it forced a lot of pressure onto Mourinho. So that Sevilla thing, as much as it annoys a lot of people, I think it can be a good thing. And I do think we've got to try and come into this week with some positivity and interest, because we beat Man City and then we've had a bad week, a really bad week. And I know why that is. I think the Martial and Rashford rumours didn't help. But then we've had to sit through the quarterfinals of the European Cup without us in it. And that's embarrassing for Manchester United. And I think that's tempered a few fans as well. So we've got a few games now. There isn't any European football for a couple of weeks, so we can focus on ourselves a little bit as well. I would expect Martial to come off the bench today as well. I think the fact that he's on the bench is important. Lukaku hat-trick, says Pavel. I certainly think if you are somebody who fancies a bet, Lukaku to score at any time is almost a certainty. I do fancy him to score today. I'm a bit tired. I've been up since, if anyone was on my channel, the Mark Goldbridge channel, I was up at 7 o'clock this morning doing the Formula 1 Watchalong on my channel, Mark Goldbridge. I'll plug it again. I'm going to start doing some different things on there, just like things that I want to do. I mean, I want to do the United Stand. I love it, but just some different things. So I was doing the Chinese Grand Prix for 2 hours between 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock this morning, and I'm going to do the Azerbaijani one in 2 weeks time as well, if you're interested in that sort of thing. So it's been a long day, so I might be yawning a little bit, but so I'm looking for a good enthusiastic performance from Manchester United, because I need a little bit of that. Good race, brilliant race though, absolutely loved it. We're still not quite at 214,000 subscribers. We need to get that momentum going back. Where's all the newbies? I think we've got loads of hardcore. We need some newbies watching us today to subscribe to the channel. I think United, the fan base has just gone a bit apathetic at the moment, I think, and a bit lethargic. And we need to, as a community, we need to give them a kick up the bottom, everybody. So please share. We've hit 1,000 likes, which is positive. Please do share the video. Share that video. And there's a share button underneath. Share it on Twitter. Share it on Facebook. And let's have a boost. Not just to Manchester United, but to the United Stand community as well. Let's get past 214,000. Let's go for 215. Come on. Let's United go for 4 or 5-0. Let's, come on. Oof, let's get some motivation going. You know what I mean? Hit that share button. Let's have it. Let's have it. 214,000 subscribers. Come on. Boom. Recently signed up to the Patreon. Looking forward to the content, says Aaron R. Aaron, Tuesday night, 8:30, we've got our first Manchester United quiz on our Patreon page. Really looking forward to that. I have thoughts on this lineup, says Abdullah. Share them. Share them. Ross Allen says, I'm a newbie. I love United. Welcome to the channel, pal. You're going to love it. If you are new, you're going to love it. United Devils fan channels, just sub to the Goldbridge account. Well, you know, I'm not going to even promote my channel. People will just find it by word of mouth, because it's going to be I think it's probably going to win YouTube Newbie of the Year 2018. Just by word of mouth. Players are about to come out. Just 1 minute. This always throws me. You'll still be able to hear me. I've just got to do something with the remote control, because we have this weird situation in the UK where they have 2 channels showing the match, and one of them is slightly ahead of the other one. And I can't tell at the moment, so I'll have to double check that in a minute. Valencia looking slick again. I mean, I must be honest, the Valencia captain thing just baffles me. It really does. He's no captain. He's no captain at all. It's just Jose giving it to the player who's been there the longest. He's just not a captain. He's too quiet. And that's not me. I'm not being critical of. I'm definitely not being critical of Valencia there. I think he's been very consistent for us this year, but he's just not a captain. But then again, who is? I personally think De Gea deserves it, and he only gives it to Valencia because he's been here longer. But I think I'd give it to De Gea. I think he leads by example. He's a cracking little player, so he is. Jay's only had 1 hour's sleep in 3 days. I think you've been in Australia, haven't you, Jay? Red Jedi, I'm surprised Mourinho hasn't made himself captain. That quote from Tommy Docherty was very, very good. Around Easter as well. If Mourinho was a piece of chocolate, he'd eat himself. Yeah, it made me laugh, that did. Fellaini not even on the bench, says Andrew Bodie. Yeah, very positive. Hopefully he's going. Hopefully he's going. Yeah, I don't agree. I mean, some people are talking about captains there, maybe Herrera, but it's... I think Mourinho just gives it to players who've been there a long time, whereas I wouldn't do that. I would give it to players who are leaders. But a fast start from United is what we want to see. Get a few goals in the back of the net. And a bit of momentum between now and the end of the season. We want that. We want that. We definitely want that. Timer almost ready, says Mark. They know me too well. They know I will forget things. And I would have forgotten it. So well done, that man. Well done, that man. Because I would have forgotten the timer. We do have a timer. And I will have it ready for you. It feels weird. It feels a long time since we've had a game, doesn't it? It does. It does feel like a long time since we've had a game. And we've got 3 in 6 days now. 3 Manchester United games in 6 days. Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday. Back of the net. And then the week after that, we've got Arsenal coming to town. Of course, Arsenal, we're sandwiched between the Atletico Madrid game, so he will put out a bit of a weakened team. You know what I would do? If he puts a weakened team out at Old Trafford, Wenger, I would go to try and absolutely annihilate them. Don't respect them. Give them an absolute pounding. Go for them from minute 1 and smash them apart. That's what I would do. We're still not hit 214,000 subscribers. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, click that icon, that little box. Get us past 214,000 subscribers. I tell you what. I tell you what. Tell you what. Okay, here we go. About ready to kick off, folks. I'll be with you now. Let's have it. Bay's been rested. Thanks for that, Alam. I think a lot of us thought that. And probably play Martial and Rashford up front, says on Wednesday, says Shane Bradley. I'm hopeful that Martial and Rashford might well play on Wednesday. That's my hope. I think wait and see until Wednesday as to what happens there. Mark, would you be happy if Rashford and Martial come on when we're up? Says Lee Creech. The only thing I would say is if Martial doesn't get any minutes today, that is a concern. But I think surely he will do. Darren Moore's a big bloke, isn't he, for West Brom? I remember him as a player as well. Anyway, we're about to kick off, and that's the main thing. I'll start the timer as soon as it starts. We're off. Football back. Manchester United back. Good, good, good. Oh dear, what's going on here? Jared was meant to be joining me. Jared, if you're listening, I've got problems today, and I don't even know what's going on with my computer. All I can say is I'm just very glad that the stream hasn't had any problems, because we're definitely having a few problems with a few things. So bear with me as I shut a few things down. And that might help. And 3 ball through to Mata there, who's it's just a bit too fast for him from Sanchez. But I think we're going to see a progression from Sanchez now. I think now he's settled in, we will start to see the best of Sanchez. And obviously next season as well. I mean, Sanchez is a good signing. I must say that. Alexis Sanchez is a very good signing. It's just unfortunate that he is sort of associated with the Martial thing. David Tapgon. Jose's made us forget about Shaw. I think we've had to. I do like Luke Shaw, but I think we've had to, haven't we? United here anyway. I'm intrigued to look at United and what they're going to be like in the first few minutes in relation to the way they pass the ball about. Want to see us on that front foot. West Brom are going to sit back against us. And I want to see us on that front foot. I haven't even looked at the West Brom team. Is Darren Fletcher playing, or is he injured? Anybody know? Doesn't look like Fletcher's actually playing. Darkness says Sanchez is world class. Rashford and Lingard sat next to each other. Mourinho just looks very moody, doesn't he? All the time. Sit down, Jose. Yeah, he just has actually sat down. Oh, I tell you who do link up well as well, though. Even when Sanchez was struggling a bit, there's a good link up between Mata and Sanchez. Footballers, you see. Come on, I want to see a bit. I want to see a good game today. I want to see a good game. Oh, Darren Fletcher plays for Stoke now. Mark Robinson. That tells you what I know, doesn't it? He left in the summer, didn't he? Nice little. See, Sanchez and Mata linking up lovely there. Nice bits of interchange already as well. Which is what I never really understood about the whole Martial thing, is that Mata's on the left wing at the moment and Sanchez has come into the number 10 position. So keep your eye out for Pogba and Sanchez though, because they are operating in that similar sort of position again. Thanks for the contribution, JW Vids. Mark Hilmert. I can't even read that out. Foul by Pogba. Oh, good start. Good start. Bit frenetic. We want to see a bit of pace in the team. I feel like I'm coming down with a cold. We don't want any of that. Might have to get on whiskey in second half. Whiskey and Coke. Free Martial is trending on Twitter, says Kingdom FX, is it? Oh my. Let's have a look. It's not trending on mine. Although, I did tweet it out. Let me have a look. Got 20. Well, I've got quite a few. It was a joke. I was only joking. Or was I? West Brom into the box there, and it looks like Lindelof's caught one off Rodriguez. We've had a super chat here. I've got Jared joining me as well, so it's all going on. Jared, just bear with me a minute. Silver D says, Mark, can we all raise our hands to Manchester City's Sterling? He was arguably United's best defender last week. He was fantastic. With him and Ashley Young were brilliant. Jared, how are we doing, mate?
How we doing, Mark?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm actually really pleased to be watching Manchester United. I know it's West Brom at home and we should expect to win it. But I just feel it's been such a long week since that Man City game, watching others do well in Europe and that. And I need it. It's a bit like a drug. I think it sort of got into a bit of depression. We needed some United back. 3 games in 6 days. And it's just nice to see him back playing, really.
It'll be a fun week. I think. Get back in the swing of things. And we've had a nice little hangover from the City game, which is nice to watch.
Yeah. West Brom are pressing quite high up the pitch actually at the moment, which is good. They're not just sitting back. And you know what? I'm glad about that. I want us to be challenged, because if they sat back against us, it's very easy for us to work our way through. If they press us, we've got to play football, haven't we? And you know, we did have a good half against Man City, but I want to see this team tested. I want to see it tested so that it can respond.
Yeah, I mean, you got to also remember that West Brom loses this game, they're down. So this is their again, they'll put it all on the line today.
Are they officially relegated if they lose?
Yeah. Yeah, if they lose, they're down. So this is one of those type of games where I feel like you'll get West Brom, like Stoke at a cup final.
Yeah. Good. The more competitive, the better. Good play by Alexis Sanchez out on the wing there, bringing it down on his chest. And he interchanges well with Mata, really, really well. Pogba's going to hit one from distance here, not connected into the goalkeeper.
Yeah, at least he got rid of his haircut too. It's nice. No more blue. Is that true? I mean, someone just said Zlatan's playing for Sweden in the World Cup. That'd be fun to see. I hope he does. Yeah, but I think West Brom might be a little tougher today. I think we'll still come out ahead. I like that 3-0 scoreline. I bet that there'd be over 3 goals, so I assume it will be 2 goals, if I'm lucky.
I've just put a tweet out. If anyone follows us on at United Stand MUFC, I do all the tweets when it's game time on. I've just put a tweet out. Might be a little bit below the belt. Might get a few complaints, but I think it's safe. So Valencia's just put a cross in there. I'll read it out for everyone in a minute. Prime Pollux made a contribution. Thanks for all that you do, guys. Though this channel, I feel I'm starting to actually understand football. Love the United Stand community and Patreon. Well, you know, I'd love to take all the credit for that, but actually it's a community, and I know things like the early squad before we go live, people talking in the live comments and that. There's a lot of good conversation that goes on, and I'm sure you all learn from each other, which is great. But 7 minutes in, United passing the ball around quickly, and I liked what Mourinho said about Lindelof, actually, the way I brought him in because we're going to have a lot of the ball and he's a ball-playing centre-back.
Yeah, I mean, Lindelof is probably the best defender at his feet with the ball that we have, so I understand that. Plus, at the end of the season, I'm happy it's not Jones.
I'll tell you what I haven't liked in the first few minutes, though, and I'll just put it out here now. It's not to be negative, it's just a little bit of a pointer, and let's see how it develops. Matic and Herrera are playing a lot of backward passes, especially Matic. But he's only made about 2 though, so it's early days. But good tackle there on Sanchez. Don't think that'll be a foul, and he got it well. And Herrera misses the tackle. It's a good game so far. West Brom are giving it some.
They're up for it. 1 goal will be enough to crush them, and then at that point, I think we'll start peppering it on. But it may take some time to get there.
I think it's got the potential to be a good game. I know everyone's like 3-4-0, and I think we should beat them 3 or 4-0. But what I would say as well is it's not a typical mid-April West Brom on the beach and they're coming to Old Trafford. It's mid-April, West Brom are going down if they lose. And how many times do you see it at this time of the season when a team is, facing relegation, a bit little too late, but they suddenly start playing like Real Madrid because it matters and it's about win bonuses, and if you go down you're going to lose a little bit of money, so it can have a big impact on people. So hopefully we see something from West Brom, because the Manchester United have got a big game next week. Here we go, Mata, oh, keeper saved. It was offside anyway. It was a chip over the top by Ashley Young. Mata was through, but he was offside.
It's a nice pass. I like Mata playing. I mean, again, at the behest of other people who I wish were playing, it's still nice to see him switching it up a bit. But he seems to be getting some consistency, Mourinho, in his squad, which is making me quite excited.
Yeah, only a couple of changes, isn't it? Mata and Lindelof, which I agree with those positions. Of course, I would have liked to see Martial and Rashford play, but I really can't moan about Mata starting. I like Mata.
Yeah, there was something I read also, and it's a good point. For Mourinho, the bench is important. I understand we want to see Martial start, but like Shaw, Blind, Darmian, Fellaini, they may be out of the club already, which is fine when you really consider it, because at least he's saying just don't touch the squad. Because he has a very weird policy. He keeps the first team away from everyone else who's not in the first team. And Martial does not have that treatment. So, again, I'm not so sold that he'll be out of here. I think half of this is the press, and half of it is fans starting to believe the press.
We just had a comment in the live comments that West Brom are not officially down if they lose. You don't need a weatherman to say it's raining. Officially not, but they would have 4 games left and they would be 12 points off Swansea with a goal difference of at least, well, they'd lose, wouldn't they? So a goal difference of 8. So they'd have to win every single game and Swansea would have to lose every single game, and then they still could go down. But they've got a chance here. Oh, cracking save De Gea. West Brom should be 1-0 up. Caught on the break. I'd have to watch that back again because they cut through as like a knife through hot butter, or a hot knife through butter. It was a good save by De Gea. Dave saves again, Jared. I would have to watch that back. They're going to show it is now.
He is just the best goalkeeper on the planet.
4 players near him. It's again Matic, not a great tackle. And then who should be marking their forward there? I think it's probably Lindelof.
Yeah. I mean, look, Lindelof, I think his defense is not as good as others. I think his ball play is better than others. So this is probably something you'll have to sacrifice. And again, that's why we have De Gea.
Good save by De Gea. Good save by De Gea. West Ham are having a go. West Brom are having a go though, Jay Wood, and that's good. I'm happy about that. These sort of games don't concern me. I want to see teams testing Manchester United, and I think this game today, I still think, as I said, I still think we should be looking to win it 3 or 4-0. But just because they're, they've still got a chance. They've got to win today, otherwise they are down, down, down. If they win today, they're probably still going down, but they give themselves a chance. So it's all or nothing, and I like that. I like it a lot.
And I mean, look, this is important for De Gea's Golden Glove. He probably wants to keep a clean sheet. And I just read a stat. I can't believe he's never won the Golden Glove. So I hope he gets it this year. I think that's a big deal.
West Brom on the break again. Is this Phillips?
I mean, look, some of the United players maybe weren't up for this.
Well, they bloody better be. We've got people on the bench, like we say, who, even, let's not talk about Rashford and Martial. Let's talk, good cross again. And it's Lindelof beaten in the air by Rondon. Cross by McLean. He should have scored again. You could argue we should be 2-0 down here.
Yeah.
Lovely cross by McLean. And it looked like a bit of a foul on Lindelof, to be honest. He couldn't even get up for the challenge.
Well, nobody's going to boss around Rondon. Beast.
I'm having a few problems with Chrome today. If anybody is joining us a little bit late, I'm going to have to shut it down and come back again. It just keeps shutting down for some reason.
Nice little headache.
But United on the attack here with Lukaku. Could do with creating a bit of a chance of ourselves 15 minutes in.
It's an open game, I will say that.
West Brom are up for it.
Oh. Nice pass by Pogba. Yeah, if we lose, then City is one. Whatever. City are going to win the league. I actually wouldn't mind them winning it, not on their own terms, not in front of their fans, and shove it in their face again. But because that means we have to lose, then I guess we'll have to wait. I can believe that we've been totally shit since he came every season. I agree, George. I agree, but it's on this team to make sure De Gea gets it. Can't let up
Pogba
stupid...
looks energetic, says RJ Bizzle, which is good. There's something missing in United at the moment, but I think West Brom are probably, playing their A game for one of the first time. I don't understand it. Jose said it. I've said it in my preview. A lot of you have said it as well. I don't actually understand why West Brom are cut adrift at the bottom of the league. They're an experienced team. I don't remember what they did. Did they get rid of Pulis at the start of the season? I mean, West Brom were always team players. I remember Dawson, Evans, and is it Macaulay? I'd always have them in my fancy Premier League team because they get a lot of clean sheets. But that seemed to disappear from them this season. Very experienced team. Obviously, they let Darren Fletcher go, as I forgot, in the summer. And they've struggled this season. But they've got good players. Phillips is a good player. McLean's a good player.
Well, you know what else? The problem with West Brom is they've done what other people shouldn't. They fired their manager halfway through the season, and then they hired Alan Pardew, who will never touch another Premier League team again. And those combined, those two combined to result in what's going on with them now. And I can't believe it, too, because it's like teams like Southampton you would never have figured to be close to relegation. But they are.
I think the thing is, as well, is that with... with Pardew, the only time we're going to see him in the Premier League is when we're doing his dance gif. We're not going to see him in a management capacity.
No.
But I am enjoying this game. You know what?
Yeah, it's open.
An open game, and you're not being tested.
We need to be tested. We don't want to walk into that Spurs game. I do think the one difference we'll see is Lingard will 100% be starting at Wembley.
Well, he's good at Wembley, isn't he? Yeah, Mr. Wembley. Crossing the channel says they got rid of Pulis because they wanted better football, and look what happens. You know what? I live in the Midlands, and I know a couple of West Brom fans, and they moan and moan about Pulis. This is not what we're on about. Well, I even spoke to one a couple of weeks ago, and they were like, "I'd rather be in the Championship playing good football than in the Premier League." I thought, yeah, you keep telling yourself that. You've been consistently a Premier League club for years, and you've blown it because you've wanted to chase good football.
Right. The only team in the bottom half of the table that I've seen play really good football consistently is Bournemouth. That's it. Outside of them, shut up shop, stay in the league, make a bunch of money. When you go against that theory, you tend to go down, right?
Exactly.
Mata's making too many mistakes. You know, again, 0-0. That's what they have to keep.
I think West Brom are up for it, and their effort levels are exceeding ours right now. I just want to check on Twitter and see how my controversial tweet went down. Sanchez is hobbling a little bit there. Don't get too excited, Martial fans.
No. Sanchez is probably the toughest person I've seen in our shirt for a while. He does not he doesn't go anywhere. He gets hit more than anyone else. Pogba. I like Herrera though. I feel like he brought some balance into the squad.
Oh, we've seen our first boring and snore. Here's Lukaku though. Into the box. Cut back. Penalty! I think we know it's a penalty. Is it a penalty? No! It's not. It's walked away. We've had a super chat here from Clive Kennedy. Thanks, Mark, for making my Sunday top man. Well, thanks for the £5 contribution. I suppose you've still got 245 quid to spare, to be honest. I'd like to see that back on Herrera. To be fair, Mark Atherton, I tell you what, if you win one of the competitions, we've got one at 8 o'clock tonight, and you fancy doing a super chat afterwards, Mark Atherton and Clive have done it now. So, you know, give what you shall receive is a nice thing. I want to see that back on Herrera again. I think it looked like a penalty. I'm surprised he didn't get booked. If not, nearly. What a save by Foster. Lukaku there. Sanchez will get it away, and again, I presume it's Foster in goal. Yeah, 2 cracking saves. Lukaku through 1-on-1. And Foster makes the save, and then Sanchez with the follow-up, and Foster makes the save again.
Beautiful save. I don't understand how it wasn't a penalty, though. I really don't. I thought it wasn't close.
Sanchez did well on both those, created the chance, and then won it back as well. I think we're going to see the penalty here. Herrera. That's a penalty. Stonewall penalty on Herrera, that. How is he not giving it? He stamps on his foot.
And if not, wouldn't you give Herrera a yellow card for diving?
Well, exactly, yeah. Bottled it.
I love refs. Refs have a whole different rule when we're in the game. It's crazy. But it's West Brom. We shouldn't be having that problem. Yeah, I want Lukaku to score. If people don't remember, this was his first team. It's West Brom.
It does irritate me though, because I think what happens is you start to lose things on reputation, and I actually think against Man City, Herrera was fouled in a similar circumstance, and everyone was like, "Oh, he took a dive." Whether he took a dive or not, or he manufactured it, there was still contact, and I just think Herrera is now sort of labelled as a diver, and it's not. You know, it's a penalty. It's a penalty every day of the week. But I still wouldn't want VAR. I can't be hypocritical. No. I hate VAR.
I also think it takes away from what this sport's supposed to be. It's supposed to be quick moving. You don't need stoppages. Again, if the ref makes a bad call, he'll deal with it after.
Sanchez has definitely been our best player so far, but interestingly enough, Pogba is sort of out on the left-hand side a lot, and Sanchez is becoming central. So keep an eye on that. There might be some fluidity between the way we're playing, which is good. There's no goals yet. We'll time out phantom scorers. Matt Fellows, I'll join. 2-0 score prediction, Lukaku and Mata.
It would be nice if we can get 3. That way I win my bet. But aside from that, yeah, I hope they don't score.
Remember, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Seem to be having quite a few newbies commenting today. So subscribe if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner. Get involved. We're live every night at 8 o'clock. Just some show advertisement promotion. We've got 8 o'clock tonight. I've got Sophie and Rodney on for the Sunday night show at 8 o'clock. Fan cams with Flex after the game. Match reaction after the game. And tomorrow at 1 o'clock will be my... do it at 1 o'clock on a Monday. It's a tactics debrief. So we sort of like talk about the formation and what we've done. And that's one to keep an eye on. Pogba's position, although he's come central now and Sanchez has gone out left, the fluidity is there. It's a 4-3-3. It's a 4-3-3. I found it funny how some people felt it was a 4-2-2-2-2 last week when it's a dynamic 4-3-3. But Pogba is wandering into that left area. It's working well at the moment, though. It's taken a little bit of time to work, but they were getting in there for the first few couple of months. Pogba and Sanchez were just getting in each other's space, but Sanchez today, much, much better. That's such a stonewall penalty on Herrera. They're showing it again. He literally stamps on him. The contact's there. It's a penalty.
It's not close.
And if it's not a penalty, as you say, Jared, he's got to book him.
Right. It would be a clear dive then. You can't just not make a call. I don't understand refs that do that. You can't just walk away and be like, I don't know what to do.
I thought he'd given it because the West Brom players, their reaction was like, oh, God. You know, there was no like, oh, it's not a penalty. There was just acceptance.
Yeah, again, and I didn't think it was close. So
I agree with Jay Brakesh. He says 4-3-3 works so well for us. I'm not going to be negative because I think we've got to look forward and be positive. And the reality is we are playing far better now from them severe nightmares. But I suppose one thing that does baffle me, because we said it in the summer, we expected this midfield three from August and it's taken till April to do it. Matic, Herrera, Pogba is such a balanced midfield three. It's a bit criminal that it's taken so long for it to happen. But Sanchez has been man of the match by far so far. And we're doing better in the last 7 minutes. West Brom are not really able to get out their half, and United have gone up a gear, which is good.
Yeah, and it's nice to see Sanchez fitting so well. I think we've all been a little concerned about that. I also like that he's playing a little bit more in the middle. That's great. Because in the end, I think we would all hope that that's the position that he plays.
Well, Matt is virtually playing as a number 10 as well at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Pogba's out on the left wing. Sanchez is swapped with him. So there's a lot of clever play about United today. It must be very hard for West Brom because everybody's all over the place. And like Pogba's literally hugging the left touchline at times. And Sanchez and Mata are like playing as two number 10s. It's really interesting. Well, Sanchez on the right at the moment.
Yeah, I think the reason for fans that this game is important is not only the win, but once we show up top 4, I would expect to see a lot more of the youth. I really would.
Well, Ben Lloyd, thanks for the contribution. He says, really not happy about the lack of Martial play time. Hopefully we'll see him against Bournemouth. I think if you are somebody who wants to see Martial and Rashford playing, I think the Bournemouth game is going to be the big key there, because surely they will be given some game time, because it's only going to be 3 days before that big game against Spurs. So I would hope that we would utilise players like that. Good cross in by McLean. Rondon again, winning the header over Lindelof. He's struggling. Lindelof's really struggling with the height and the power of Rondon.
Yeah. Rondon's not an easy person to cover. So, I get that. You know, it's funny, too. I was thinking about it. Like, with Martial, think about how difficult it would be to become a fan favorite at this club. I just don't see somebody like that leaving this type of club when every fan loves you. I think it's very tough to walk away from that. Even just business sense-wise, you're going to make, you'll be able to write your own ticket as you get better. Yeah. So, I don't really know. I think that the press has done an unbelievable job of finding another way not to let Manchester United fans celebrate a great win.
I think also, though, I suppose we don't know enough about it, but it could just be the modern phenomenon of football whereby Martial wants to play football, but you're right, if he was actually patient, he could. I don't think Mourinho, unless we win the title next year, will stay longer than 3 years. So somebody's gone down off the ball there. I think it's Pogba, but he's all right. He's up. I think he's just trying to get a foul off the ball, but he needs to toughen up a bit. But Martial, like you say, it's not easy to become a fan favourite like he is, and that's not going to go anywhere if he just digs his feet in and says, I want to stay at this club. But you've got agents and everything saying I can get you this money at Juventus and that, and maybe he wants to play first team football. But I think the Bournemouth game is going to be interesting for that.
100%. I also think when he lost that shirt, I think that's a big deal. I think Mourinho always wanted him to earn it back, and I hope he does at some point. I really do. I think he could become one of the most talented players in a long time, and you can't sell someone like that, a.k.a. Salah, De Bruyne, Lukaku, all people he sold. So we hope he's learned from his mistakes.
I see a few people. Martial should be on the left, Sanchez on the right. It's difficult because I don't think United have done particularly badly. I mean, I'd throw that to anybody. What are we doing wrong in this game? Because it is pretty equal. What are we doing wrong in this game? Because there has been some good bits of play between Sanchez and Mata.
I mean, I'm surprised how well West Brom is playing in this game. And again, if they could finish, they should have, they should already have a goal or two. All right, and for anyone who cares about West Brom stats, they're playing in their 8th straight Premier League season. and they were promoted back the season after they were relegated. So I'm sure they're hoping for the same thing again, because they will be relegated.
It's an odd pass by Young. It's gone away. And then they put themselves... Hit it, Lukaku. You're on your left foot there. Hesitant. Well done, Herrera. Good fighting. Wins it back. It's with Lukaku down the left. And nothing comes from the cross. A goal is coming, says Hakeem Williams. I hope so, Hakeem.
I agree.
I think a goal for United will change it. But having said that, it won't change. I think this game's going to be a good game for as long as it's in West Brom's sights, because even if they go 1-0 down, they've still got to try and win it. So it could open up nice in the last sort of half an hour or so.
Yeah, I mean, I think this will be one of those games where it's going to be tough to get the first goal. Once we get the first goal, I think it's going to...
Pogba just handballed it there. Could get a yellow card for that. He's got one, yeah. Called that one, didn't I? Cross came in and Pogba went with his hand. I think to be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know whether that's a yellow card.
Well, if that's not a yellow, I mean, I
suppose it is, yeah.
Why would it be a yellow card, though? In all honesty, it didn't affect play. Did he try and do it, too? I don't know. Whatever.
It is a bit instinctive, I agree, but...
Selective carding. Just the one thing we don't want to see is a red card out of him. I think Pogba, we need to keep consistent play, and we need to see growth out of him, which a red card screwed up this season for us, if everyone remembers.
I think if we can get one goal, though, a lot of people are saying it in the live comments, and you said it as well, Jared. If we get one goal, it will open up for us, because West Brom will have to go for it. I think West Brom are having a go, but I think also what we'll see from West Brom is in the second half, if it's still level, they'll go for it in the last 10 minutes because they need a win. Young over Luke Shaw. What pills does Jose take, says Luke Skywalker. A lot of people have said Young's done all right in this game. Ashley Young will do well in a game like this because we're actually on the front foot a lot, and that's what he is. He's a winger, isn't he? So it's when he gets run at he's a problem.
Yeah. But
who's been pulling off a Maradona? Oh no, I know what they're on about. I thought someone was pulling off Maradona then.
Ashley Young will be a temporary fix. Shaw will be gone. Young will be here, and he'll be a backup next year. So, whatever.
Build up is too slow, says Kezi, fronting.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll learn anything about United today anyway, because I think we're on the front foot, aren't we? So it's how we approach Spurs that we'll learn. That's the game. If we play Spurs and we park the bus, then he's got problems, hasn't he? If we play Spurs and play really expansive, like we did in the second half against City, then we can see that progression. But it's very hard against a team like West Brom because we're at home, they're bottom, and we know that we're going to have a lot of possession going forward because they're going to, look to counter on us.
Right.
I said it quite early on though. I don't think there's been enough urgency from Matic and Herrera on the ball. I think Mata and Sanchez are trying hard, but maybe we're a bit static in the left. In the midfield.
Nice pass. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest difference is the play has been good. It's just, I don't think anyone expected West Brom to be playing this well. But they're up for it, which is a good thing for us. No easy games. Yeah, I do agree.
Gone again. Does my head in.
Horrible build-up play. The build-up play is like Chrome for Mark today. Not good.
Chrome for me today, Google Chrome for me today is a bit like Manchester United. It's good for about 10 minutes and then it just doesn't respond. So I have to shut it down and start it up again, and then we'll have another good 10 minutes. I might just... I need it for the trouble is I need it for Twitter. I can use it on. What can I do?
Pogba.
Got it back now.
Come on. All right, nice pass, Valencia taking it up.
Going to hit one wide.
Just like that strike from Palace, from Matic. Martial would be rubbish in this game. I don't think that's true. And I don't think we'll ever know. So don't worry about it. That is an accurate comment, Joe. We need natural crossers to use the height advantage. I think that is something that we will be correcting this summer.
Waleed, West Brom have created the better chances. Well, Lukaku had that chance as well, didn't he? That's a lovely little ball into the channel. Lukaku loves those sort of balls from Herrera. So Lukaku now in the channel and gives it away. And I'd say it's 1-1, 0-0 it is at the moment. Obviously 1-1 would be it's a draw at the moment. It's a fair result at the moment. West Brom have had a couple of good chances, United have had a couple of good chances, and it probably is around the fair sort of score. I mean, give us your thoughts in the live comments. Are you happy with this? Is it good enough? Flex is at the game for us, so obviously he will be telling us what the feeling is in and around the ground, but I don't know. I mean, this is a team that's got a very slim chance of staying up, and to do that, they've got to win today.
Right.
They're giving it a go. New manager as well, let's not forget. Darren Moore, new manager, temporary, but that can have a, by all accounts, I think it was a bit of a nightmare under Pardew, so they've got to respond as professionals as well. No one wants to get relegated and get relegated badly.
It does bewilder me that Pardew got Palace to an FA Cup final. Or was it I think FA Cup final. And again, Pardew, what happened to him? He's the reason they're going down. He is an atrocious coach. I was hoping he would be in this game. Then we would have had no problems.
They were trying to get through Young for pace there, but he was too quick. Major TV makes a good question here, which I'm going to develop and I want to see people in the live comments, if you've got time, just to give us a reply. He says, this is boring. Do you think it's a personnel issue or tactical? I can't answer that question myself, so I'd be interested to see what other people think, because we are 35 minutes in, it is 0-0. Is that acceptable? What is it that is wrong with this team? Because I can't actually individualise somebody, maybe apart from Lindelof and Young, who've not had a great half, but in the attacking positions, I can't say Mata, Herrera, Pogba, Sanchez, Lukaku have had a bad game. I think it's probably more tactical. I don't think it's individual players having a bad game. I just think we're not really causing West Brom enough problems. Although this could be it for Lukaku. Oh, Ben Foster again off the line. He's having a good game. Former United keeper, and actually spoke very, very well. I read an interview with Ben Foster this week. He was talking about United, and he said it just wasn't for him. He likes playing for West Brom. He likes the fact that it's one game a week and he can spend the time with his family, whereas at United they were always playing 2 games a week and you're always away and everything like that. And he said, football's not my priority, my family is. So, very honest, but good keeper.
I don't know how any fan would take that positively, though, if that was your keeper saying that. Like, aren't you shooting... In a dream scenario, aren't you shooting for European football?
Well, you'd think so, but I just like people who are honest. I don't necessarily agree with it, but very honest. Right. He's a good goalkeeper as well. He's a good goalkeeper. Again, I remember when he was at Birmingham, I always used to have him in goal because he'd get loads of clean sheets. Here we go, bit stretched here.
Oh,
Pogba to Mata, yeah. We've lost it. Both teams making a lot of mistakes, but that's because both teams are pressing each other.
Yeah, I mean, do you actually think West Brom could keep this up for another 60 minutes? I don't. So I think that's the other thing. By some point, if we can prevent them from scoring, we will break them down.
I'm not, you know what, as well, as I said, as much as I like Martial and Rashford and Lingard, I'm not convinced I don't think this is a game for Lingard because I don't really see much space for him to spin into. And likewise, I don't really see a lot of space for Martial or Rashford to get into as well. It is more suitable to a Sanchez and a Mata, an intricate little play.
Yeah.
Here we go. Got a little bit of an overlap here. Ashley Young. Sanchez. Decent cross. No. Trouble is, West Brom have always been good in the air as well, putting crosses in. They're good at that.
Yeah. The tall team.
Adam Smith thinks that Mata's off his game today. I don't think he's been too bad. I think he's been all right. I
think he's been okay. I think we're used to Mata being the most creative player. So He hasn't been that, but he hasn't been bad. He hasn't made errors.
Nicholas says he's embarrassed and he's sick of Mourinho and this structured defensive tactic. A few people saying boring. It's so interesting. I love it because you get. That's what I love about the live comments in the community. You get so many different opinions on it, and I don't think a draw is acceptable today, but I do think West Brom are playing way better than they normally would, and I think people are probably looking at it thinking, well, they're bottom of the league. We should be 3 or 4-0 up at half time.
Right.
But I'm old enough to know that teams down the bottom suddenly turn into Real Madrid when it matters, and that's effort is a big thing, isn't it? And their effort levels are, they're playing for their lives.
Right. I mean, these players lose a lot of money if they go down. So in every contract, there's a relegation clause. So don't think, it matters. Every loss matters. I mean, West Brom, this is it for them. Again, so it's not going to be, here we go. But they're not going to, come on. And Pogba's got to keep his head together.
If we lose today, I won't be Jose out, no. Fans are dead, says Golden Owl. That's always a problem. But I do think that Mourinho is really struggling with this at the moment. That even though we won against Man City last week, there's still a mistrust in some of the fans about whether he is going to do the things he needs to do. And it will take, beating Man City at the Etihad is a massive thing to do and should win you a few positive points. But it just shows you how many negative points he's accrued, that it's going to take more than that from the United fans. And I think a lot of United fans, Jared, and people at home, I think Man City's all good and well and it gives us something positive, but I think a lot of people are like, well, that's a good start. The Spurs one next before I make my mind up.
Yeah, I mean, I also think, you said it before, Liverpool being where they are in the Champions League, City being where they are in the league, it makes it very difficult to put positive spins on things. We are improving, but people see other people progressing faster, and I don't think they want to wait with the style of football. I think if Mourinho was in the title hunt, there would not be complaints at all. I think because we're so far out of other things, and the Sevilla loss, I think, is very damaging. But
I mean, Pogba's more or less playing as a left winger a lot of the time.
Yeah. They had to have seen something tactically, because I haven't seen him do that often.
It's simply because Sanchez wants to come into his space.
Yeah, it's not boring. They're defending well. I agree with that. Hold on. Get some game stats for everyone.
Five minutes to half time.
Yeah, I mean,
well, if you're a West Brom fan, and I don't think there are many, but if you are a West Brom fan, you'd be mildly optimistic with that. They've done the golden 20 minutes. They've had as many good chances as United have had, and they've hung about there. And this is where they'll be looking at causing United problems, because they've always been a good team in the air.
Agree.
A lot of people, Liam T, get Mata off. He's so poor. What's your thoughts on Mata, Jared? Because I don't know whether I'm missing something here. I thought Mata had done okay, but
kind of
maybe
on
my blindness towards Mata's consistency sometimes makes me blind to the fact that he's not having a good half.
I think people are looking for people to be frustrated with. We should be winning a game like this, but I think West Brom are playing.
Oh, God, they should have scored there as well. Header back along the 6-yard box. Nobody on the end of it. Bit lucky for United. So slow from back to front, it's painful, says Stephen Willocks. Yeah, it's the age-old problem, isn't it?
These things are going to have to be corrected, but they're not going to be corrected until we get the players in that can play like that.
And just so Pogba and Sanchez on the left just don't work. I've just tweeted that, actually. I think it's a work in progress. Jared was talking about it there, that Pogba is wandering out onto the left wing a lot because Sanchez wants to come into his place a lot. Well, yeah, that can work, but again, you're not getting the best out of Paul Pogba putting him out on the left wing.
All right, Andrew Ellis. Regardless of where we are in the league, we are dull to watch. Lindelof should be sold. Lindelof is a perfect third option for a center back. If we were to bring in like Umtiti and pair him with Bailly, and then Lindelof plays games like this, I'm okay with that. I think he would get better, and he's very young. And he brings something new to the team. I don't think people who are Jose out are ever going to turn to Jose in. I think it's very tough. They'll have to win a title for that.
Well, I do. I mean, obviously, I'm Mourinho in, but I do feel that Mourinho is basically on a countdown now. If you're Mourinho out, you've got a year, because if this time next year we're in the same situation with Man City, he will go. I don't know necessarily whether he'd be sacked, but I think if there's no improvement on that gap between Man City and then they win the title next year, he will go, because I don't think he can do it. I don't think he'll commit any further than that. But
I agree with that.
But he could win the title next year. You know, everyone's like, oh, we're not going to win the title next year. But you start off with 0-0, no points. Everyone starts off level in August. City won't, because they won it by 16 points this year. They don't start off with that advantage. It's a new season, which is why Liverpool fans are saying, oh, we can win it next year. And they won't, but they'll think that they can.
Yeah.
So United could win it next year. Mourinho is very good at... I mean, let's not forget our 2 starts to the season. Since he's been here, we've definitely won the first 3 games. I think we won more than that this year. It all started to go wrong in October. So we're gradually getting better, and he's normally very good at breaking down a season. And obviously the injury to Pogba in October did cause us a lot of problems, and 4-0 FC died. But it's West Brom on the attack here towards the end of the half.
About 1 minute and 10 seconds left.
I mean, I suppose the doubters will say, same old United. The only reason we played well against Man City is because the players gave themselves a kick up the arse, and this is the problem with the team at the moment.
But then what about the Liverpool game when we beat them? Every single Premier League game that Jose has had to win since we were out of the title race, he has won. The Man City game, I feel like that is such a humongous win for someone like Mourinho, and I feel like he did not get enough credit for it at all, which has to be extremely annoying for him. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely losing this 3-goal bet.
No, Martial's going to come on and score a hat-trick.
That's what we need. I would not be surprised to see some changes made at half, though.
I'm not, to be honest with you, I love Martial, but part of me, I don't know what people at home think as well, and Rashford, I love them both, but part of me is like, don't bring them on. Don't bring them on, because it's just not their sort of game, and I don't want them to be like the Martial and Rashford haters will be like, oh yeah, you're always going on about bringing them on, and then they've been rubbish.
Yeah, I mean, I think he brings them on when they tactically are fit for the game. Like Rashford, he played
Pogba's
against.
Just hit one over the bar, deflected, so it'll be a corner right towards the end. It was a good little bit of play between Sanchez and Pogba, actually. To be fair, Pogba centrally though, and not stuck out on the left wing.
They're gonna come on. They are. Again, January not ideal to sign someone, but can you really pass up signing Alexis Sanchez? I don't think so. I really don't. I think when he's playing his best, people will be happy.
Here we go. Chris Smalling's going to get us 1-0 up on half-time here anyway. Sanchez is on the corner. Cross comes in. And West Brom get it away.
Oh,
Sanchez might have an opportunity to put another cross in just before half-time. But it's gone out. I think that's going to be pretty much it. Still 0-0, Mr. Anonymous. Yes, it is. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new. We've got quite a few people watching, so if you are a newbie, bottom right-hand corner, click that subscribe button. Get involved with the community. We're live at 8 o'clock tonight with Sophie and Rodney with Sunday Night Live. We've got fan cams. Do watch those with Flex. He'll be interviewing fans after the match. Bloody hell. I didn't expect us to have, moody content today, but maybe we will. I don't know. I still think we'll win. And I've got my match reaction as well. But that is half-time for Manchester United. Give us your half-time thoughts, Jared.
Well, again, obviously I think everyone would want to see goals, but West Brom have played well. De Gea kept us in the game. Both goalies have probably been the best players on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts pretty much are that it's difficult. I'm not as moody. Carlos says the problem is we're too predictable. I totally agree about the movement of the ball from back to front is a bit too slow again, and we have gone backwards with that. But what I would say is that I do think we've all fallen into the trap, and I did it as well. We've spoken. Jared said 3-0, 4-0, whatever. we all spoke about 3-0 or 4-0, but West Brom, actually, if they don't win today, are going to be going down. If they win today, they've got a slim chance that if they keep winning, they can rescue themselves. So, new manager, caretaker manager, they've shown a lot of effort. They're playing like they've not played all season. They're playing like it matters. They're playing for pride, and they're giving it. And that is something that maybe Manchester United mentally aren't. Maybe Manchester United are thinking, oh, we've got this game in Bournemouth, and then it's all about the FA Cup semi-final. So I think there's a bit of a clash of mentalities where West Brom are playing for their lives. Manchester United maybe thought they were having a bit of walk in the park, and there's a bit of a clash there. So I'm a bit sympathetic to United for that. The crowd's very flat again. The football isn't quick enough. I think Matic has been a problem with that. I know we all love Matic, but I did notice in that half he's played a lot of sideways passes, a lot of backwards passes, and that's sort of slipping back to Sevilla again, isn't it? We need to start, passing the ball quickly, because that's what Liverpool and Spurs and City do. They pass quickly and don't let teams set. West Brom don't look uncomfortable against us. James Moore, how can you be happy with this? It's West Brom. Look, James, I'm not saying you have to be happy. You make your own mind up. But what I'm saying is I do think we need to put a bit of a retainer on it, that this is West Brom, and teams at the bottom in April, when they've got a slim chance even of staying up, can turn into Real Madrid, because it's about things like Jared said. Your wages go down and things like that. So they're giving more. I'm not saying we should be giving more. We should be beating them. And I still think that 3-0 was a fair prediction for everybody, and we should do more. I suppose what I would say for everybody as well, what about changes at half-time, Jared? Would you make it? Well, maybe not half-time. He doesn't do that very often. But what changes would you be looking at in the second half? Because I personally think for everybody who wants Rashford and Martial, I think we'll see Lingard first.
Yeah, I think they could use some more pace in the team. So, one of them with Lingard would be nice to see. Whoever he chooses is fine. I assume he'll pick Rashford and get on another striker. But again, I think Rashford would speed the team up.
It's interesting because I don't think I'm a big fan of Lindelof. I think he's been thrown in at the deep end a little bit. What annoyed me about that half is that he was getting really bullied by Rondon. But Smalling is somebody that I've always said is good in the air. And then Smalling is not the man marking Rondon. Lindelof is. And Lindelof getting a bit bullied by Rondon. But again, I would say Rondon in this game, and I remember him, I've had Rondon in my fantasy Premier League team before as well. Where's he been all season? And suddenly he's playing like a top Premier League centre forward. So West Brom are certainly a different West Brom to what they have been this season. I think if this was Pardew's West Brom, we'd probably be 3-0 up at half time. But there seems to be a grit and determination to them. But Manchester United must respond. For me, I do feel, I don't, give us your thoughts. My man of the half was probably Alexis Sanchez, and everyone in the live comments, if you are typing away, do tell us who was your man of the half. I thought Sanchez was very good, but I do agree with what Michael Denise has just said there. We're way too narrow. Sanchez is coming in, Mata's coming in. You've got Herrera and Pogba and Matic already in. We've seen Pogba wandering out to the left wing position. What the bloody hell's that all about? What's Pogba doing out on the left wing, Jared? That's just ridiculous. It's not clever tactics when you go in 0-0 at half time. If we'd gone in 4-0 at half time and Pogba's been out on the left wing, we'd go, what a brilliant bit of flexibility in the team that is from Mourinho. But Pogba out on the left wing, 0-0 at half time, people are going to say, what the bloody hell's going on?
Also got to remember we were not given a penalty that was a penalty. So
yes, very good point. It was a stonewall, wasn't it?
And Lukaku, that shot was not a bad shot by Lukaku. It was an unbelievable save. It didn't kick it over the net. He's become more composed. That's what we're looking for in his first season here. So, again, it is progress. It's West Brom. So it's going to be amplified if we're not winning.
Thanks for the contribution, Summon Mia. Just to talk about that Herrera thing, we've forgotten about that. It's a stonewall penalty. The referee should book him if he thinks it's a dive, which it isn't a dive, but you can't just play on and say no penalty. It's either a dive or a penalty, and he doesn't give the yellow card for diving, and he doesn't give the penalty, but it was a penalty.
Right.
Metis says it definitely wasn't a penalty. Better go to Specsavers tomorrow. They open up at 9 o'clock because it was, mate. It was blatantly a penalty. You can be anti-United, anti-Mourinho, whatever your agenda is there, and I'm all about opinion, but that is a penalty. There's contact. it's a penalty. He doesn't touch the ball, he touches the player.
You're entitled to your own opinions, not your own facts. And that was a penalty. That's a fact. He hit him. He didn't dive. He should have been called. Ref looked the other way.
Dylan McCreel says, though, you've got to play to the whistle. The referee didn't give it. You've still then got to go and do something about it. Let's not forget, they had their own chances as well, West Brom. So, it's, it's not... I'm not saying... I'm let's be honest. We've been talking about this half-time for 5 minutes. Jared brought the penalty in. It's not like we're going, oh, we're unlucky not to be in front. We'd forgotten about the penalty because actually it's West Brom at home. We should not be at half-time saying we should have had a penalty. We should be saying, well, we should be doing better than that. So, the penalty is not really a massive issue for us, is it? It's more about... just going back to what I said there, Leo DiCaprio says Herrera man of the match, definitely. I do like what Herrera brings to the midfield, and I hope a lot of people saw that. For all the moaning, West Brom made a lot of mistakes in their midfield because Sanchez and Herrera were tenacious and were chasing them down. And we've not done that all season. We're very lethargic in the midfield with people like Fellaini, McTominay, Matic, Pogba. So good to see that from Herrera and Sanchez making the mistakes. And I thought Sanchez was very, very good. Definitely a penalty. I'm just watching it there. It's 100% a penalty. I can't believe somebody would say it's not, but there you go. Like I say, Specsavers is open in the morning. But yeah, so that's been a positive for me. But I do think, why is Paul Pogba out on that left-hand side? Because him and Sanchez get in each other's way. So that's where Pogba has to go. Otherwise, he's basically holding Sanchez's hand.
Yeah, that's something that they're going to have to figure out. Obviously, last week, second half, they played unbelievably well together. I'm sure that's what we want to see. And you know what's funny? I feel like we will get a blitz of goals from United. So, let's check.
Mo Adams made a good point here, though, Jared, because he says we don't need to play Matic and Herrera. I disagree with that. The way West Brom are set up, they're not actually sat back. So, they are actually having a go. So, I think we would get swamped in the midfield with just Pogba and Matic in a game like this because they're not parking the bus, West Brom. I think a lot of people thought they would do that, but they need to win. So, they're actually being... they're putting a lot more emphasis on hard work. When they've got the ball, they'll try and break. When they haven't got the ball, they'll work back. But they're not sitting back and soaking up pressure and parking a bus because they need a result themselves.
Well, this is funny. Bjorn Klattenberg is a special guest on a Norwegian Premier League show. He concludes it's 100% penalty. Whoever said it wasn't a penalty may now be right if Mark Klattenberg thinks that way. But
if we lose, City do win the title, Lucas. You're right. I've forgotten about that as well. Why play wingers and not ask them to play on the wings, says Red Jedi. Well, somebody did say at the start, Mata isn't a winger, is he? And Sanchez wants to come inside. I've spoken about it so many times. And Mata wants to come inside. So then you've got Ashley Young who wants to come onto his right foot to cross. And Valencia who can't cross. So effectively, we haven't got any width. Then you've got Paul Pogba going out on the left wing, who's right-footed as well. So it's... There's a distinct lack of width in United's whole side, and yet when we're talking about the summer, Jose's talking about the summer, and we're talking about the summer, and I'm going to use it as a comment tonight to talk about Sophie and Rodney with, so I'll bring that up there. When we're talking about signings in the summer, we're talking about midfielders, we're talking about fullbacks, centre-backs. No one's talking about a winger, yet we know that Mourinho wanted Perisic last summer. We've still not brought a winger in, and we're not going to buy a winger. So it's a bit weird, this lack of width, because we're quite a tall team, but we don't seem to want to address it, Jared.
Yeah, I don't know that I believe it. To be frank, I think that if we lose one of the players we don't want to lose, I do think we'll be buying a winger. But let's see. I don't think anyone will know what will happen until the summer, and I think the one thing we will all be happy about is most likely our signings will be done before the World Cup. Mourinho hated waiting last year. I know that was a humongous sticking point for him, that we were negotiating over $2 million for Perisic, and eventually they just didn't sell him to us. That's not going to happen again. So if we're going to get Umtiti, it's going to be within a week. If we get these people, they will sign quickly, and then they will go to the World Cup. Because... if everyone remembers what happened to James Rodriguez after he left the World Cup, he went from a $10 million player to a $100 million player overnight. So we won't risk that, I think, this year.
Saminga says, I think Man City didn't get a penalty with that young tackle on Aguero. We didn't get a penalty against West Brom. So he's saying that, maybe they're evening things up. I don't think the referee's been fantastic, to be honest, and I think that refereeing decision's a bit shocking. Having said that, if you had VAR, we would have had a penalty there. I still would not have VAR. So even though we would have had a penalty with it, I still don't want it. I hate it. I still think that actually yeah, we didn't get a penalty there, but I would still rather have that talking point of injustice than have the 2 minutes waiting around to be told it was a penalty. Yeah.
VAR will change the game negatively. It will. It'll stop play, it'll slow it down, and this sport shouldn't be slowed down. It's a mistake. They made a mistake. They didn't call a penalty. Oh well. We should score anyway. So, I think we'll be okay.
Zeki says, do you think Martial will be subbed on? I do not think we will see Martial in the second half. Do you? I think we might see him, but I don't think we'll see him before Rashford and Lingard.
Yeah, you know what? I actually do think one of the two will come on. I'm hoping it's Martial because I think he would be perfect right now for the game, but I don't want to get my hopes up. But I do think so, actually. I think he would fit in this game now. But I think they need to be broken down and tired a little bit more. At around 60 minutes, I think it'd be perfect.
You know why I don't think he'll use him? Because I think if he comes on and scores a couple of goals, and then all the fans who love him can go, told you so, Jose, that's exactly why I won't bring him on. Because it's an ego thing. And it's like, he won't want that to happen and him to be facing, oh, you should have been playing him more. So he won't allow it to happen. So let's see. Let's see.
I hope not, but I do think that's possible. In that case, then he would bring on Rashford, though, right?
Yeah, maybe. Arivand has made a contribution. United don't look sharp, but they're definitely playing more offensively than a few weeks ago. Mata looks a little little off, and Herrera is having a good game. Yeah, I've been impressed with Herrera and Sanchez. Red Jedi, we won against City because Pogba made runs into the box in the second half. Why not continue those tactics? It's a very, very good point there. And Vincent Quentin says, Valencia is finished. Just a brick wall. You know, Valencia's, I've got to say, and Paul Robinson agrees with you, I have said consistently since Christmas that Valencia is not playing as well as he has done in the first half of the season. He's been very consistent for United, but he's dropped a little bit. But I think a bit like Matic did. He's in his 30s, Jared. I think Valencia plays every single week, virtually. And
right.
A lot of the time when we were playing 2 games and we had a right back who could play right back if Valencia was fit, he used to get rested. I just think I think he's suffering from fatigue. He's definitely off. Lingard's coming on. I told you.
All right. Good. I think Valencia and Young are very similar examples to each other. I think they will both be substitutes next year. I do. Not substitutes, but just I think to your point, they will not play as consistently. And I think we will bring in people for both positions.
The worrying thing for me is, though, Lingard comes on, and I did predict that Lingard would score today. And but it's the worrying thing is that Lingard is ahead of Rashford and Martial. And that, for me, is worrying, because he is not. No matter what you think about Lingard, you can be in the fan club or you can think he's a squad player, but the reality is, I've got eyes, and Rashford and Martial are better footballers than Jesse Lingard, and that's the bottom line. It's a fact. He's a squad player, but in Mourinho's mind, he's above him, and that worries me. It does worry me, because he is not as good as Rashford and Martial, yet he gets brought on all the time. He starts the game ahead of them all the time. And that worries me because, I hope Lingard comes on and scores now. That's not me being taking an L. I think Lingard can score in a game like this, but I will still say Martial and Rashford are better. But in Jose's mind, it's always Lingard. And that worries me a little bit.
I think the unfortunate thing is a lot of times Martial and Rashford are grouped together. I believe that Rashford...
Herrera's out.
That's an interesting sub. I did not think he would bring them out. I think that Lingard's attitude in training is probably the #1 reason why he continues to get play. Mourinho's a big attitude guy. I think that Rashford has a positional issue because of people playing ahead of him. Martial I can't figure out. So I think they're all different in that sense. But Lingard has to be doing something in training. that's getting people better, because he would not be starting so consistently unless he was. Pogba looks a little bit deeper now, which is unfortunate.
I mean, to be honest with you, I know why it's Herrera, because it's he doesn't want to take Pogba off because of all the, Pogba's the star player at United, and he's never going to take Matic off. So it's a tactical change, isn't it, to get Lingard on and try and,
right.
Basically it's like that comment, we don't need 3 midfielders. But here we go. Oh, Lingard should have scored. Blocked by West Brom. Way more United players in the box though, and West Brom are probably going to struggle a little bit here because United are corner. So Lingard could have scored there. So we're basically going more attacking, so people should be happy about that. But I do feel sorry for Herrera, because I felt Herrera with Sanchez was the man of the half.
Yeah, I wouldn't read.
We're just going more attacking, aren't we? That's what we're doing.
Right. And I also wouldn't read too. Hold on, here's the corner. No go. Nice clearance. I don't think I'd read too deep into it. The Herrera substitution, there is 3 games this week, and I think he's becoming integral to the team. So I don't see him not playing, if that makes sense. I didn't think he was terrible. I would have taken Mount off ahead of him. But people want attacking football, and that's what you're going to get in the second half. 4 goals coming in. Lingard is older, I will give you that. I mean, isn't Rashford like the age 20? Something ridiculous. Yeah, Rashford's 20 years old. It's just, I feel like people forget about that a lot. For a 20-year-old to be playing as much as he had this season under Mourinho is a big deal. That I don't believe in the press. I do believe the Martial thing more and more, honestly, that he may not be here, but I don't think it's even close. I mean, Rashford's been grown up in the system. It would not, you don't just leave when you have a bump in the road. That's not, then he wouldn't have made it here anyway. So I don't think anyone should look into Rashford. I do think Martial maybe, but
I'll tell you what, I'm starting to figure out why West Brom are going down. If Chris Brunt's still playing for them, he's been playing since the 90s. He's another player I used to have in my fantasy Premier League team. He used to get a few assists. So, to be fair, I mean, I'm disappointed about the Herrera thing, but I'm not going to rant about it because actually we're just going more attacking. So he's took a player off to go more attacking, and I think more relevance is that I still think Lingard could score in this game and it could be a positive, but I do firmly believe that Rashford and Martial are better players, and if they got the chances that Lingard did, they'd score goals too. So it concerns me that Lingard is ahead of Rashford and Martial in Mourinho's thinking. But again, Lingard's a better player. He's a good player. I just think Rashford and Martial are better. But we've seen these sort of weird things that Mourinho does. Fellaini was getting picked ahead of Herrera and Carrick. So it's not the first time that he favours players that maybe the fans wouldn't do. He's the manager, isn't he?
I mean, again, age-wise too, you got to remember. I mean, Lingard's 5 years older than Rashford, 3 years older than Martial. So that has to play into it to some degree. He's had the experience of being on the bench, of growing into the team, and he's definitely starting at Wembley. So you definitely want to get him a couple of games. But credit to West Brom. They've shut us down for a little bit. Let's see if they can do it for another 50 minutes. 40 minutes.
Let's not forget as well, there's probably a motivating factor with Jose here that I think if we draw, Man City can't. They're pretty much, Man City are going to win the title anyway because they've got Brighton and Huddersfield at home. I don't think anybody seriously thinks that we can stop them winning the title. It's just about delaying them winning the title. If we draw, they don't win it, but if we lose, they win it today. So we don't want that to happen, obviously.
I've stopped caring about that one as much. It's been brutal to hear as long as they didn't win it against us. They're 16 points or 13 points ahead. At that point, you just got to tip your hats to them and be happy that there weren't pictures of them celebrating with us there.
Lionel Messi 10 says, City or United, who is best? Well, Manchester's red because we beat them, but I don't judge who's better over one game. It's over a season, isn't it? And much the same as how Liverpool fans think they're the best team in the country because they're in a Champions League semi-final. The reality is, in the league, you're behind us. So I think we're a better team than Liverpool, as stupid as that sounds, because the league doesn't lie.
No.
You might play the better football, but everybody plays the same teams home and away. However, if Liverpool win the Champions League, you could argue they're the best team in the world. So,
right. Well, I think Salah has been unbelievable. So credit to them for buying him for $40 million because he's worth about $200 now. Can people stop putting up fake score? Yeah. You know what, David? That's a valid point. We may not be the best team on the pitch right now, but I will respond to that by saying great teams win even if they're not the best team on the pitch. So, something to consider.
Makes me laugh. People are actually saying Lingard's needed in this game over Rashford and Martial because he's so good off the ball. I really, I've played football, coached football, watched a lot of football, and I have never, ever, ever seen such obsession about off the ball like it's suddenly a new thing. I mean, of course, footballers don't stand still. I mean, Lingard is quite good off the ball, but as a tactic, as a reason to be, pro him, it's just not. It's what you do on the ball. And Lingard can do good things on the ball. Mata, ooh. Someone score a damn goal, says Atmosphere. Yeah, tell me about it, mate. Tell me about it.
It's going. I do think it'll be Lingard or Lukaku who score.
I did say this afternoon, I think Lingard will score. It's the perfect sort of game for him. It would just hang around the edge of the box, something will drop to him like it nearly did in the first couple of minutes of the half, to be fair. But you know what? People will be negative about Jose, but he's brought another attacker on at half time. And, it's forced West Brom back, which is probably what Jose wanted from minute one. He wanted West Brom to sit back so he could just keep pummeling them and creating chances, which West Brom weren't letting happen. But now they're probably quite surprised themselves about the approach, and they're having to just hit on the brake more. Whereas it was more of an even battle in the first half, because with our three midfielders, they were not having to worry too much about the back. Whereas in this half, they've had to do that.
Well, I don't think he's playing for a draw. Like I said, I think he's setting up for, unfortunately, a 1-0 win, which isn't great. We're hoping for more. There is very little pace. That's true.
It's like a foul there on Pogba's fouled McLean. He's got to be careful because he's on a yellow card, old Poggy.
Yeah, I mean...
Mata's poor, says John Sherrill. A lot of people still on Mata's back. I think Mata never plays longer than 70 minutes anyway, so I think we'll see Mata for Rashford. So at least we'll get one of them on. Unless he's not going to make defensive changes in a game like this. We shouldn't be seeing Rojo or Jones come on, and I wouldn't have thought McTominay. So hopefully see Rashford.
Score for Mata if we get a goal. If not, I think we'll get one of the good ones. So I think we'll get Martial or Rashford. It is crazy how much of a following Martial has at this club. It's unbelievable for a 23.
I know, you do get called a fanboy. Someone who's just saying it there. Look, I don't deny it, but you know what I would say as well about Martial is, I do really like him, and I think even if he didn't have, and I'm not a stats person, I just judge him on what I see, and he's the one player in the club that gets me on the edge of my seat. Sanchez is starting to do it, but Martial just gets me on the edge of the seat. He's just a proper flair player, and I like him for that. But I don't even... I just defend him on that. But actually, as I was saying, and I've said it a couple of times in the last few days, he's got the best goals to game ratio in the squad. Better than Lukaku. He creates more chances than anybody else in the squad. And as for this, he doesn't track back. He's made more tackles than Marcus Rashford has this season. So it's sort of hard to not, even if you don't rate Martial, you sort of have to sit down based on stats. He's got the best games to goal ratio in the team, more assists and created chances than anybody in the team, and the stats show that he works back. So what is, if you're not a Martial liker and you agree with what Mourinho does, on what basis do you do it? Because actually every single area that you look at proves you to be wrong. And that's the problem, I think. That's the frustration with people, is that it's just not justifiable not to use it. But I think he might be coming on by the looks of it, which would be great.
Yeah, it would be nice to see. And we have an intelligent fan base, so I think it's very difficult. If everyone is behind a player, it's very hard to see that he's not a good player. He's an excellent player. The difference is he's an issue people can talk about, and it works because he doesn't play. So, hold on. Oh, should have gone for that ball. But again, until he gets consistent games, fans are going to continue to batter Mourinho for it. Unless we're winning 4-0 in games, which we're not.
I think this is a great comment here. Martial complements Pogba on the left, whereas Sanchez creates traffic jam on the left. And it's true.
It's not inaccurate. It's very, very, very
and
good point.
that's not picking on anybody like Pogba and Sanchez. I just don't. I think they're both really good players for United, but they don't work together that well because they both want to go into the same area.
Nice block, yeah. Again, Sanchez has only been here since January. I can't. I said I'm not going to judge him on these months. Hopefully, he gives us a moment of brilliance in the FA Cup, puts us in the finals. Great, but he's learning while the league's going on, where most people have an off season to kind of mesh with the team. So after the offseason, I'm very curious to see how good he actually is and how him and Pogba start working better together. Pogba getting subbed.
West Brom, yeah.
Is that true?
What's that?
Someone said Pogba's getting subbed off. I don't see that. But
well,
who knows?
You never know with Jose, do you? You just never know.
Yeah, we haven't heard the last of that story. I can tell you that much.
Yes, Martial's coming on.
That's good. We're going to see a hat-trick out of him.
And it is Pogba off.
It is Pogba. You know, then that's another thing. Like, Mourinho, of course, has to pull off the one player that he knows is going to get shtick for it. And then he'll say, well, I brought on Martial, so the fans are never happy. And it's very interesting. He plays mind games in everything he does. Some good, some bad. It's because he's on a yellow card. Not inaccurate, by the way.
Yeah, well, he could have just been sent off, couldn't he? As you say, with Mourinho, and like you say, it could just be because of the yellow card. But even when there's a positive, there's a negative, isn't there? Because it'll be like, the press will be like, Pogba's been subbed off after 60 minutes. And there could be a really good reason for it, but that'll be the story now. So it's interesting, though. We've took a midfielder off. We've took 2 midfielders off in 15 minutes. We've took Herrera box-to-box off. We've took our 2 box-to-box midfielders off. So Matic is on his own, and I presume Lingard goes into midfield with Sanchez, and Martial will just hug this touchline now. But the thing about Martial is, as bad as he is, he's got a foul there. As bad as Martial is, as soon as he comes on, he gets doubled up on. So it's ridiculous, isn't it? Martial he's just won a foul here anyway. So, but straight away he's got 2 players on him.
It is interesting that he immediately goes into the left side. Like, when he plays, they really don't move him around. He just stays on the left. Sanchez looks like he's moved a little bit to the right centrally. So
it's interesting about Pogba there, though, because I just read it in the live comments as well. That I read it a few minutes ago in the live comments, that Pogba actually just wasn't tracking back, didn't look interested either. So, was that vintage Pogba? Was it vintage Pogba in the first half at the Etihad? Has it been vintage Pogba for a long time? It was vintage Pogba for 45 minutes at the Etihad, but it's probably more important that we get Pogba in a big game. You know, Pogba turning up against Man City is brilliant for 45 minutes, but actually, shouldn't we expect him to turn up against West Brom at home? And that's maybe something missing from Pogba's game as well.
100%. He's not consistent. Mourinho said that this week, though. He's very inconsistent. He's like,
I've got to be honest, and I don't know what people think at home. I know the press will react to it because they don't like Mourinho. And I know a lot of people on the live comments don't like Mourinho. But can I just say, in relation to the Pogba thing, I'm not. Actually, I don't disagree with him being taken off. I think he he's not had a good half. And should you just keep someone like Pogba on just because his name's Paul Pogba? If it means Martial gets minutes on the pitch, I'm not going to moan about it.
I think we're going to be dealing with this discussion for a while, because I think in the end...
Well, I can imagine tonight's Sunday night show at 8 o'clock is probably going to have Pogba in the title. So,
right.
It's because it is a pertinent point.
You know what, though, again, we were talking about this last. I just... Hold on, Sanchez. Beautiful pass.
Of course, the problem Martial's got now is everything's going down the right-hand side because you've got Lingard, Mata, Rashford and Sanchez down that side. So will Martial actually get the ball to do anything?
Yeah. He'll get a couple chances. He has to.
And that's what I would say. Obviously, I know a lot of people like Martial, but what can I please just say this? Even if you don't like Martial, for the next half an hour, instead of if he does nothing in half an hour, you say, well, he didn't do anything. Can we also just keep an eye on how often he gets the ball? Because, as I've said with Lukaku many a time when people were having a go at him, you can't have a go at Lukaku when he's not getting service. You can't have a go at Martial if he's not getting the ball. So, if he gets the ball and he goes into blind alleys and he doesn't do very well, let's have a go at him. But if he doesn't get the ball, you can't, I can't have a go at Lukaku today. He's had a couple of chances and the keeper has saved them, but...
No, I mean, look, he's in the game. Do something. That's all. Well, it didn't make much sense. The guy just kicked the ball into Martial's balls.
Well, we are trying to win it, Brendan. I agree. We're going all out.
Us fans are more obsessed with individual players.
Well, I think this game's going to get interesting anyway, because West Brom, half an hour to go. They'll probably stay like this for 15 minutes more, and then they'll be thinking, well, if we get 3 points here, we might give ourselves a slim chance of staying up. A draw's no good for them. So I think they'll fight it on for 15 minutes, and then they'll have a go. So it should open up a little bit.
100%. There's no way. They can't get a draw. It's either win or... They're not in good shape with a draw. I mean, they're not in good shape with a win, but at least a win gives them a discussion.
I do feel that the very good point by Andrew Ellis, you've just read my mind. Herrera should have stayed on the pitch, not Matic. I agree. I think Matic is like Lukaku. Mourinho never shuts up about him, and he's been very, very good for us. But in a game like this, where we're trying to win it, keeping a player on who's just very static and roll the ball around and everything like that, you need some urgency in that midfield. You've got all that attacking talent. Herrera could run that midfield very, very easily, run around, pass it off. A bit of, I don't know whether Jose's done something a little bit sporadic, because it seems silly to me in the space of 15 minutes to take off both your box-to-box midfielders, because now, where's the creativity coming from deep? It's not really what Matic does. So it's all right having all these attackers on, but how are we giving them quality balls to work with? Although he's done quite well there, Matic. Oh, it nearly slips in Sanchez, Martial.
That's a nice play.
Oh, referee. That was a handball there. He's terrible. The ref's terrible. It's like he's like having a day out. He's just happy to be there. Doesn't want to make any decisions. Martial flicked it over a West Brom player. It looked like a handball to me. Good turn by Sanchez on that right-hand side.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty... Again,
that's what people are hoping for, isn't it? They want to see... Sanchez and on the right and Martial on the left. It's just whether it can work or not.
Right. The ball was out too.
Gio's right though. Matic will help us with corners because of his height. And that's Mourinho for you, isn't it? He loves a bit of height. Herrera doesn't give him the height. Darth Vader says no shots on target. We've had some shots.
City would be up. I mean, I don't get it. It's gonna.
Well, we beat City last week, didn't we? So.
Yeah. I don't think certain people will ever be happy, and I can respect that. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Here he goes. Nice pass, Lingard.
They're there. Oh, there was Martial was on the edge of the box there, Sanchez. See, I think when Martial plays this season, to be fair to him, he does play with a lot of maturity. Like, he doesn't just run into blind alleys. If it's not on, he'll give a pass. If it is on, he'll try and do something. His ball retention is much better this season.
Yeah. I do think his biggest problem also is his attitude on the field. I think he has these moments where he just looks miserable.
Yeah. I don't think that's him. I just think it's... some people just do look like that, don't they?
Yeah, I think that's something that probably counts against him a little bit.
Back stick, Lukaku! Oh, what a save by Ben Foster. That is world class.
This guy, man.
Oh my God. Foster is the new De Gea.
And a goal kick.
Brilliant. He's even...
Everyone comes to Old Trafford and has a worldly every time.
I don't begrudge him, though, because he's ex-United, and that's the save of the game, and we don't often see that De Gea being done. Yeah. Karen Banzai says, why not take Young off instead of Pogba? Thoughts? Yeah, we could have gone to a back three. I mean, Ashley Young's again. He's another Mourinho favourite, isn't he?
He's done it. Look, I don't know. Young gets a lot of shtick because he takes Shaw's spot, but I don't really think Shaw deserves a spot anymore. So, again, I think me and you disagree on that one a little bit. I don't even think he needs a chance anymore.
Luke Shaw's finished. I don't think he's had the chances, but Mourinho's made a decision on him, and
I agree with.
If it was Martial not getting in on the bench, I would say the same. I really like Martial. I really like Luke Shaw, but it's obvious that Shaw is finished. Mourinho doesn't like him. If you don't like Mourinho and you want Mourinho out, that's your choice. I don't want that to happen. I don't agree about Luke Shaw, but at the end of the day, it's Mourinho is the manager and he will be judged on his mistakes and his successes. And I think Luke Shaw is better than Ashley Young, but Mourinho doesn't, and that's it, isn't it?
And I guess to everyone's point, if you're going to pick a fan favorite or someone to get behind, you can't have everyone. So is it Martial? Is it Shaw? And it's like people are going to have to decide who they care about and who they're willing to let go, because people are going to leave this club in the summer. So don't get over-attached.
Well, Martial's done some good things since he's come on, and he's working quite well with Lingard.
Yeah, I mean, he's composed. Nice passing.
Oh, nearly worked.
Luke Shaw without legs deserves to start over Young.
But you know what? It's like everything that Anthony Martial does gets scrutinised. Even that flick, he's giving it away. I don't want to, Lingard's done some good running off the ball in this second half, but he's not actually done a lot with the ball. But that won't be scrutinised. It just gets forgotten. It's like everything Martial does bad is sort of scrutinised to the ridiculous levels, when for others it's not that way. Come on, Young, give him a ball, give him a pass. Oh God! See, that's dreadful from Ashley Young.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, one goal's going to be enough, says somebody. I don't think it will be. West Brom are going to try and win this in the last 15 minutes, because otherwise they're relegated. So the last 15 minutes of the game is going to be, just hang in there. I think it's going to get quite open up.
Yeah.
Valencia, cut it back. Sanchez, I thought. See, if Valencia could cross, he wouldn't have put so much weight on that, and it's right on Sanchez's foot.
Right.
Let's come down that left-hand side. Martial. Oh, lovely ball into Mata. Late off. Lingard hit it first time. Oh, just wide. Good bit of play there. Martial into Mata. Lays it off for Lingard and he shoots wide.
Oh. It's a nice shot by Lingard.
But what I would say about Martial, if we were doing a Martial watch, is that actually pretty much everything he's done, whether it's a simple pass or not, is retaining of the ball and retention of the ball, which is really close. Lingard's shot was deflected there. It should have been a corner. But, people moaning about Pogba, we've been a better team.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough with Pogba. Even if you're the biggest Pogba supporter, which I think he's great, he's been one of the most inconsistent players on the team. And his agent's a rodent.
You know what? I'm sure the press will make a massive deal of it, but I actually agree with the substitution. I probably would, I think Mata's done well to stay on. I think he'll probably come off at some point. Is Lingard switch? Oh, Jesse.
Oh.
Martial was in acres, just couldn't get it there.
Yep.
Good little bit of play there. Actually, Lukaku's got the pass wrong. Bloody idiot. Lukaku's staring at Martial in loads of space and plays it to Lingard.
And it's funny actually. They're all making hand gestures, just saying we know we screwed up. Like we know we all made.
Lukaku's not. I don't care. Lukaku's got a lot of positive traits, but creator he ain't.
No.
He can put a decent cross into the box, but intricate little quick passing, not really him, is it? Martial was wide open there, says SB. It really should have. You know, that's what good teams are learning on the training ground. You know, these players have paid a lot of money. That pass is so bloody open, and neither of them see it. But they are going for Martial a lot. And look at West Brom though. Every time he's got 3 players around him. That just shows you what the opposition think.
Daniel Rowland, great comment. Nobody has had a good game, but I don't think anyone's had a bad game either. Everyone's had an average game. Nice play by Lingard.
I think we've been a lot better since Martial came on.
I agree.
Here we go. A little bit of a break. Ashley Young will have the pace to get back there. West Brom on the break. Corner ball. Yeah.
Oh.
Jonathan Royston Ford. Oh, sorry, mate. It's a ridiculous comment. Absolutely. Apparently, we've been very negative. I don't know what you're on about, man. Been absolutely positive for the last 30 minutes and actually defended Mourinho taking Pogba off. Ridiculous. I don't know what he's on about.
I think people just say
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? We've got 20 minutes left. If West Brom win it, City are Premier League title winners. They're going to have to try and win it. So surely we've got a great chance of winning it on the break or something like that. United Devils fan channel. Martial was more open there than Miley Cyrus. And they've scored. West Brom have scored from a corner.
Unbelievable.
Well, it's...
you know what? I still think we're going to be...
Rashford's coming on.
City champions.
Seb's not happy. So the cross comes in. Who's that on the back post who doesn't win the header? Lukaku doesn't go with his man. And Matic gets beaten in the air.
Yeah, that's Matic and Lukaku's fault. Lukaku just let him run.
Well, to be fair, Matic, we all love Matic and Lukaku, don't we? But they're at fault there. Matic was at fault for the second goal against City last week. But are we going to play the blame game? The reality is West Brom have always been very good at set pieces. They're battlers.
That's where they get most of their goals. And again, people keep saying City champ. Who cares? City are going to win the title, irrelevant of how. In all honesty, if they don't win it at their own stadium because of us, it's not the end of the world. We're going to get top 4. It's not a terrible season. Hopefully win the FA Cup. And that's why I think he took Pogba off too, because if he had gotten the red card, wouldn't he have missed the FA Cup game or no?
Oh, I don't agree. I don't agree with that. The Pogba decision being an issue in this game. I think Pogba was poor. I think United have been better since Pogba's gone off. The reality is, we gave a corner away. West Brom. I mean, who gave the corner away? Was it was just a cross deflection off Ashley Young, wasn't it? You know. Corners have been a big problem for us this season, which is what boy White 10 has just said, and it's true. Here's Ashley Young, cross coming in. It should be one more. Oh, I thought Lukaku was going to get on that on the back post. Martial, Sanchez, over the bar. Martial's going to get a bit of pelters there. He probably should have done a little bit better there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to do better there, Martial, to be fair. Cut back from Sanchez. Young, Ashley Young off. There you go. It's what people wanted. Rashford on. I mean, it's a mess now, isn't it? You've got Mata on, Rashford on, Martial on, Lingard on, Sanchez on.
Well, you know what? Everybody has always wanted to see them all together. Now we get to. Now you get to see Rashford, Lukaku, and Sanchez and Martial and Lingard on the same team, on the same field. That's cool. Now we get 4 goals. Liverpool fans are laughing at us. Liverpool fans are laughing at a lot of people because of this Champions League thing. And then they'll lose, and then everyone will laugh at them. So don't worry too much. He hasn't been awful today, David Smith. He hasn't scored yet and missed one chance. That doesn't make someone awful.
We've got a comment from Matthew McFadden. If we can't beat bottom of the league at home, then the City win means nothing almost now. Most boring game I've seen in months.
He's... I don't know. Matthew I normally agree with, but in these games, you're almost better off playing the 7th place team than the last place team at the end of the year.
Yeah, they're fighting for their lives, obviously, aren't they? I think the problem that we've got now is that what are we going to try and do? Put crosses into the box that we've been rubbish at all season, and we're playing a team that's actually very good in the air. I don't think we've got so many attackers on now. I just don't even know what we're doing. I don't know what we're doing. I mean, is this subliminal? Is this sort of like a subconscious thing from, you know, is this reverse psychology from Mourinho? Oh, well, I've got all my attackers on that you want, but you've got to have a formation. There's, you know, I can't see what we're doing now. It's like we've got Sanchez on, Lingard on, Rashford on, Martial on, Lukaku on, and Mata on. We've got 6 of our, and we normally only ever pick 3, and we've got all 6 on the pitch. There's just, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
And again, West Brom, this is the last time
come on, ref.
In a long time.
Neom should be off. Wasn't he booked in the first half?
Yep. Oh, come on.
No, he's
pointing at some joke. You know, and again, though, you got to remember, even if West Brom win this game, they're still 10 points off of to get out of the zone. It's not likely they're staying up no matter what. So in the end, it is likely that they are playing this game as like, let's give our fans something to cheer about because we're going down. And they play Liverpool next week.
And they've got Spurs to play as well. Yeah, West Brom will still go down. The problem is now, look, we've got all these little intricate players on, like Rashford, Martial, Mata, Lingard, and we're putting crosses into the box.
Going to be a fun 12 minutes.
We haven't really got any height, have we?
No. And isn't that another yellow card? Yeah, whatever.
God, Rashford in corners. Oh. I'll give him a tenner if he beats the first man. No. Yeah. It's just so predictable, isn't it? He never beats the first man.
Irrelevant if you like Mourinho or not, he's definitely not going to be getting a lot of fans because of this game.
Decent cross there. Mata, dinky cross, back post. Someone get up for it. Smalling back header. Martial, Sanchez. No. It's going to be interesting last 10 minutes. Well done, Lindelof there. He's basically 1-on-1. Could go 2-0 this because we're pushing everything forward. Football, eh? I don't like how we're hitting long balls against a team that's so good in the air.
I don't think this game plan has been great. I figured they would break them down at some point, but they just have consistently been passing. I mean, I don't understand the long ball game. I hate to say this, but it's like this is a game where you'd almost want Fellaini.
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah. Just an option.
And then and then I'm sitting here and wondering if, like, maniacally, that's what Mourinho wants us to say.
Yeah. Reverse, yeah, I know what you mean. Because I don't think we should be playing the way we're playing. Knocking long balls into the box.
Mm-hmm. And then I bet he's going... Yeah.
West Brom the attack here. Another corner. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner, simply because we have got fan cams outside the ground after this game, which could be very, very interesting with Flex. And also 8 o'clock tonight we're live with Sophie and Rodney, and I think there could be quite a lot to discuss about that. Also live straight after the game, match reaction show, so give us your thoughts on that.
Unfortunately changed the score mark.
Yes, reluctantly in the moments. I don't want to do it. Well, I could be changing it again here. It's another corner.
Again, we need to get better at defending set pieces. Corner specific.
That's into De Gea's hands, which is reassuring to see.
You know, he's going to be furious, De Gea. Furious. And for good reason.
West Brom on the attack again here. We've done throwing it away. what are we doing?
Yeah.
What I would say though is whether you want to have a pop at Mata, Lingard, Sanchez, Rashford, Martial, totally unfair to have a pop at Lukaku. Totally unfair to have a pop at any of those players when they're all on the pitch together in a formation that makes absolutely no sense, with no fluidity, no structure. I mean,
I don't even know what this formation is.
yeah, this makes no sense at all.
It's just, okay, let's try our best, everyone. Everyone get forward. Oh.
Martial, just nice quick ball into Rashford there. See, quick ball makes a difference. Go on, there's a ball. Oh, too slow, that ball.
Yep. They haven't been good.
Oh, good crossing by Martial. Cleared. Mata. Valencia. Put a good cross in for once in your life. Oh. See, Sanchez has disappeared in this half, hasn't he? Great first half, but he has disappeared this half.
Yeah. Interesting. You really wonder, can he play on the right?
No. Ben Foster's made some good saves, but...
Yeah. Look, Lukaku should have had a goal on that header. 100%. That was a great save. He's made 2 great saves. And we made 1 humongous mistake. That's all it takes. That corner was atrocious. Defending-wise, setup-wise, everything. Even giving up a corner to this team is not the best decisions. Go on, Jose. Take the money and run. Just, you know what? Can't get Mourinho out after a game like this. It's West Brom. It's okay. If it happens again at Bournemouth,
we will be a laughing stock. Let's be honest. You know, we will be a laughing stock.
It's not going to be great, right? And you know the headlines are going to be Manchester United hand City the title by losing against the worst team in the league. And that's fine.
Never in a million years thought that we wouldn't score today, and I never in a million years thought that we would hand the title to. I don't think even Pep would have done. I think he'd be shocked. Absolutely stunned.
Yeah, they asked him yesterday, "What are you going to be focusing on United?" He's like, "No, I'm playing golf with my son." So he's like, "No, we should not have lost this game at all."
Well, it's not lost yet. Maybe 10 minutes to go.
No, I still hold out for multiple goals. Let's hope a win can still happen. The fans look dejected. They don't talk. They're not loud. It's really unfortunate. Our home atmosphere is atrocious. Zev is louder than the fans.
He is.
Jose bottled this. It's not over yet.
Yeah.
Andrew Ellis, it's over.
Valencia down the right. I'd celebrate the goal now just because it stops. Well, I'd celebrate the goal anyway, but I'd celebrate it just to stop City winning the title. I think it's bloody. It would almost be a sort of signal of the whole season. This result, wouldn't it?
Yep. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You know what? In all honesty, Hal, this is a comment. Well, you idiots still supporting Mark. He didn't do anything wrong. He has not played exceptionally well. He's played exceptionally poor.
Who's this?
He is set up for success in this game. I don't think anyone has seen a situation where he could have excelled except for 1 shot.
What? Some people are slagging Martial off?
Yeah,
go and get an education in football. As I've said, you can't slag Lingard, Rashford, Martial, Sanchez, Mata or Lukaku off in this half when you're playing 6 forwards when you should only have 3 of them on the pitch. There's no form, there's no system. It's an absolute bloody free for all. It's not football. You know, Ronaldo or Messi would struggle in this because everyone's in everyone's way. It's just a mess, an absolute mess. Tactically, a mess. You can't have a go at any of our attackers.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, they look dejected, to be fair. And again, I don't like it's fans against fans, because then it becomes people saying, well, you like Martial, and that's a reason why, and I don't believe it, and you should never back him because of a game like this, and it doesn't make any sense. He's a United player. He should be backed anyway. Irrelevant.
5 minutes left here for United. I'm still confident that we might get one. Lingard. I mean, Lingard's been very, very quiet in this game as well. You know, where's the Messi Lingard fan club? You know, but he could pop up with a goal in this. Ah, maybe not. What are you feeling, Jared? Do you think we've got a goal in us?
Yeah.
It just depends how long the referee gives, really.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a frustrating season for situations like this. Not one game has been easy, I would say. We haven't had easy wins. And I mean, Lukaku that's one of the worst defensive plays I've seen in a while. Just let him go.
Switch it. Here we go. Down the left. Martial. At least he always looks to play a forward pass there. He ignores the pass to Matic because he wants to play the forward pass. Because he understands about going forward. Rubbish cross there. Whoever's crossed that, I'll take a hazard a guess. It was probably Valencia.
It was maybe Valencia or Lingard.
Seb's not happy. We're not happy. We're not happy.
Yeah, no, there's nothing to be happy about. I'm also curious, if we do lose, who is Mourinho going to throw under the bus in this game? Because it's going to be someone, and I could definitely see him throwing Martial and the fans right under the bus. Atmosphere was terrible. Martial didn't convert chances, and as a result, we lost.
Dear me. Dear me. Obviously doesn't like his dinner. Or he's just intrinsically linked to his dad. He's just, you know, he's letting out all my frustration as I try to remain professional. Martial to Rashford. The pass is backwards. It's got to be forwards. He plays a 20-yard pass forwards to you, Marcus. Don't spin and pass it backwards. Play the 1-2. He's looking for it. Until we get that mentality out of our team of trying to, you know, playing the safe backwards pass, go forward. For the love of God.
Be a very interesting
Well,
Sunday.
The reality is we ain't going to win this game, and a lot of people said in the first half a draw is not good enough. The ground's nearly empty, mate. There's a lot of empty seats.
Is it worth staying around for?
This is, I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to the fan cams because I don't think anybody expected this result today. And massive result for Manchester City, of course, but terrible result for Manchester. Sorry, it is a massive result for Manchester City. Terrible result for United. If it stays this way, good crossing by Martial. Lukaku can't make a contact on it.
He has not had the best game.
No, Lukaku. Yeah, I always feel sorry for Lukaku because of the service, but today it's not that he's had no service.
Yeah. Now they haven't converted. There's been a couple of chances where we could have scored. I mean, he's choking him, but whatever. Lukaku's a beast. He should be able to just throw him off. What must De Gea? I genuinely ask myself this all the time. What must De Gea think? Oh, there we go.
How much have we got? 4 minutes. Matic. Terrible pass.
Yep.
Well, we're going to have an interesting match reaction, I think, unless we can get something out of this.
I don't think it would matter, honestly. Even if we got a draw, I think people would be more agitated.
It's West Brom at the ball at the moment, so...
Yeah, fans are all leaving, which is not a good...
That is by Martial. Lukaku's got to get there first. My mother. God, this is embarrassing, isn't it? Let's be honest. It is embarrassing. This is a caretaker manager. You know, a rough and ready ex-centre-back for West Brom comes to Old Trafford and gets a result like this.
It's unbelievable, actually. Whoever
Still 2 minutes left. You never know, but oh god. But I just don't know. I don't know what. I don't disagree with the Pogba thing. I think if you're going to be mad with Mourinho, you've got to be mad with Pogba. I thought he was poor.
I think I agree. I think after the City game, we were expecting to see him take over a game like this, and he has not at all. He just didn't do anything.
Matter. Oh, Smalling at the end. Should have scored. Cross came in. Valencia's ball. I think Smalling should score.
They can't head the ball.
Good chance that. Do we deserve it? I don't know, but good chance.
I don't know. I mean, Jose can't have many more of these, I'll tell you that much. One thing you don't want is a nationally televised game to have half your stadium empty. Yeah, a week after beating the top team in the league, we do this. And it's pathetic.
Well, we have got a match reaction. I've just been sort of keeping an eye on the match and setting that up for you all. The link's in the video description for that. We'll literally go live there straight after this one. I mean, Jared, we've only got a minute left, unless by some miracle we get a goal. What's your thoughts on the game? I'm tempted to say, have you got a man of the match? But I suppose it's a bit difficult.
Yeah, Foster.
Oh yeah, for them definitely.
And you know what? I don't think anyone on this team was really that excellent. If it wasn't for De Gea, I think we would have probably been down 3-0. So, you know, it's
just we said this though in the week, didn't we? You know, Mourinho's got to start playing a better style of football. We thought we were going to see that, but what did I say? Even though I'm pro Mourinho, I said, look, let's not get carried away by the Manchester City result, and let's not become Arsenal. Let's not be deluded. Let's see what happens, because we've got to do it against Spurs. I never expected we wouldn't be able to do it against against West Bromwich Albion. I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah. This is, I mean, I don't think there was, the stadium is empty at this point. It's pretty embarrassing. We're talking about West Brom. And that's going to be, I assume this is going to be the game.
Yeah. They've won. 1-0. West Bromwich Albion have won the game. Thanks for coming on, Jared. It's going to be an interesting match reaction, I think.
I would agree. Thanks again for having me, Mark. You stay well. Hopefully better next time, right?
I'll speak to you soon, pal.
See you, bud.
We've got 5,000 people watching. We're actually moving over to our match reaction stream now. So the link is in the video description for that. We will be taking some of your calls as well. I'll literally be live there in about 60 seconds time. Shambolic, lots to talk about. Link in the video description. I'll see you there in 60 seconds time. Well, less than that actually. See you in a minute. Shocking from Manchester United. Link in the video description for the match reaction, or you can go through the homepage. See you in a minute. Want your thoughts, your calls.